Got it as high as it'll go.
That'll do.
Now it's okay.
Makes too loud.
Is that me?
No. This one needs batteries.
Have them take mine, because we don't have any time. How are you, Karen?
Are we gonna sing?
You have to sing the opening song.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's got a big end.
Thanks,
I
Tom.
don't know what to say.
Thanks a lot.
Is that on? Hello?
Yes, you're on. You're on.
All right, gentlemen, are we situated? Mike's on? Everybody ready?
Yep.
Bill? John?
Yep.
Karen?
No, I'm not ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vernon Town Board of Supervisors meeting for June 7th, 2018, 6 p.m. We'll call to order. All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chairman Thomas Bird.
Present.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Present.
Supervisor Bill Craig. Mr. Chairman, I note for the record that you do have a quorum of your board, and also note for the record that the town auditor, Howard Jeanson, is here, and DPW Director John Henneberry is here also.
All right, thank you. Open meetings compliance.
Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon Town Hall to the media, to businesses within the town of Vernon, to the town of Vernon website. You're in full compliance with the open meetings law.
Okay. Public comments. Are there any public comments? Any public comments?
I'm not sure what that means. It's my first meeting.
Oh, if you want to make any public comments on any issues that are town issues.
Okay, and I'm not sure if this is the right time, but I did turn in a complaint 2 weeks ago, and so that's why I'm here tonight to talk
On?
about that complaint. It was
Probably want to
on
come up to the
ongoing
microphone.
rummage sale.
You're up to the mic, please.
Yeah, you can come up to the mic.
Sure. Okay.
And just state your name, dear.
Sure. My name is Susan Pate.
Pardon?
Susan Pate. P is in Paul, A is in Paul, E. And I turned a complaint form 2 weeks ago because we have a neighbor that's having constant rummage sales, and so it's causing a constant flow of cars on our road. It's eroded our yard where cars were parking, and it's just become a nuisance to us. It's just right across the street from us. So I'm just here to find out if there's some type of regulation that can be added to the ordinance that says exactly how often you can really have these sales, because when we asked our neighbor how many more she was going to have, she was already on her third one, and she said she was going to have 5 more. And so we said, okay, well, we'll have to check that out. And we actually talked to Gary one day and tried to get some clarification. So, because we don't feel like our subdivision is a resale area. We just wondered if there's something that can be done that says you can have 1, 2, or 3. I mean, we wouldn't even care if it's once a month. It's just that she had 3 in, the month of May, and every time she does this now, we actually have to put stakes at the end of our yard so that nobody parks on our yard, because we have to put out money last year to replace dirt and grass in our yard. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Any further information
no,
from me?
thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other public comments? You actually have an agenda item, so we'll invite you up to the front when we hit that. That's item C. So that's item C. So you get a front row seat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not
sure if I have an agenda item. I'm Mark Meridian. I had a question about.
Come on up.
It's not on the agenda, Mark. But, I mean, you're more than welcome.
More than coming in. You can make
Did
public
I
comments.
misunderstand?
Yeah, I asked you to call Supervisor Wildy, and I didn't know if you guys talked at all, or...
Okay.
Obviously you didn't.
So, state your name and address, please.
Okay. Mark Meridian. I'm at W267S8555 Rustic View Lane in town of Vernon. I have had several phone conversations and email correspondence, which was copies to the board regarding charges for ambulance or paramedic service through town of Vernon Fire Department and paramedics, and subsequent billing for that service. Billing details, if you want to get into details to refresh memories, total billing charges of $1,125, of which $620 was covered by insurance. $68 was applied towards deductible and co-pays for a total of $689.25. The balance, according to my insurance, was written off as over normal and customary charges or normal write-offs for insurance agencies that have agreements with many and most municipalities for taking discounts from insurance companies. In conversations with the company that does the billing for the city or for the village, I'm told that Village of Vernon accepts no discounts from the insurance companies or doesn't acknowledge any discounts and expects the homeowners or whoever accepts the service from the paramedics to pay the difference. Being a longtime resident of town of Vernon, paying taxes every year at the typical rates of town of Vernon, I'm feeling like I'm already being charged for the fire department and EMS services, and now being charged double or additional charges that seem unwarranted to me for services rendered. And if carrying that conversation just a little bit further, if the town of Vernon is not accepting the insurance payments, I think that you should be proactive in letting your residents know that, so they can call an ambulance company that will accept insurance payments rather than getting, in my estimation, stuck with a $400 bill or whatever the difference is based on whatever the ambulance company, or in your case, paramedic company, charges.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mark, did you want this to be an agenda item at some point? So the board, the problem with public comments is they can't interact with you?
Yeah, if you need to act on it, then it needs to be an agenda item. And whether I need to come back to address it again at that time, let me know.
Okay.
I haven't paid it, don't plan to pay it, so, you know, whatever it's open until you guys make the decision that you're going to authorize your billing company to make it go away.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? No other public comments. There may be a possible closed session. Item 7 is motion to go into closed session. I'm going to read that. It's for consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin Stat 19.85, Pren 1, Pren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. More specifically, negotiating for an intergovernmental agreement / contract with the Village of Big Bend for EMS and fire service. Included in the closed session will be the Town of Vernon supervisors, town clerk, and then motion will require a roll call vote, but that will be after item 14, which is, 13 is next meeting date, and public comments will be the 14th. So 15 will be the next closed session. We'll be going into closed session there. Item 8. Miscellaneous matters. Following matters will be discussed and possible action taken by the town board unless otherwise noted. Item A. Rotop Jensen report on the 2017 audit financial statement. Howard?
I'm Howard Jensen I am the audit partner with Rotop Jensen and Company. I actually did the field work to conduct the audit this year. A few years ago, we entered into a multi-year agreement with the town, which kind of benefited both parties, where we could give our audit report a little bit later at a discounted price. So the town could save several $1,000s, and instead of having to be here in April, they allowed us to come in later than that. So tonight I'm making my presentation for 2017. Prior to this, I had done the audit. I had given all of my adjustments, journal entries, to the clerk, and she had posted those on the town records. So the town records have been up to date and in agreement with the audited statements for a month and a half or thereabouts. So this is not something new that you get for the first time. The 2018 records have already been adjusted going forward, the beginning balances. So I just wanted to clarify that and introduce myself. We have, so I'm just going to read from our audit report. These financial statements that I'm presenting are the town's. The responsibility for these financial statements are the town's. They're their numbers, they're not our numbers. What we simply do is we audit them and we put together an audit report. And I'm going to start with that report right now. Dear board members, we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the town of Vernon, Wisconsin, as of and for the year ended December 31st, 2017, and the related notes to the financial statements. These collectively comprise the town's basic financial statements, and they're listed in the table of contents. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these statements in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. This includes the design, the implementation, and the maintenance of internal control relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of these statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. Our responsibility is to express opinions on these financial statements based upon our audit. Then I go down to our opinion paragraph. In our opinion, the financial statements that are referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of, and then I state all the financial statements that I had previously mentioned. Our report is dated May 31st, 2018. So I'm going to go through, it's a long report. I'm going to touch on maybe 4 pages of it, just the highlights. None of this is going to be any surprise to the board. They obviously approved every bill that went out of here. They saw the money that came in. They were given regular monthly reports from the clerk's office and the treasurer's office. I'm just going to summarize those for everybody else's benefit. The first statement that I'm going to look at is on page 3. I talk about this every year. Governmental accounting, for whatever reason, about 10, 12 years back, they decided that they should be presenting statements not just in accordance with the budget, but also to look more like what is the town as a whole, and it's more, the accounting for those is more in line with commercial accounting. So we truly do have 2 sets of books going on here. The first statement that I'm talking about on page 3 contains information that we don't have elsewhere. It has long-term assets, it has long-term liabilities, so that's specifically what I'm going to talk about here. Like I said, all of the funds are combined in here. It's full accrual. Even the long-term assets show up here, and they're depreciated, similar to a business would do. When I get back to the budget statements, which are most of the other statements, they are When they go out and buy a $500,000 fire truck, it shows as an expenditure that year. We don't depreciate it over 20 years and set it up as a capital asset. But that information is here in this first part of the report. So, that being said, at the end of 2017, between land and other depreciable assets, the town had approximately $5.9 million in long-term capital assets. At the end of 16, they had $5.2 million. So it grew by almost $750,000. There was a significant amount of new capital assets that were purchased during the year. There was a 2018 plow truck. There was a roadside mower, and none of these are cheap. Just so, I mean, it's not a $30,000 truck. It's a very expensive truck. They added a surveillance system. They added fire equipment, the defib Lucas device. They upgraded the audio-visual equipment. They took delivery of a new pumper that had been paid for in 2016. They paid for it the year before because there was significant savings on their end, a discount, if you would, to do that, and the pumper came in 2017. They also did about $400,000 of road work. When I get down to the long-term liabilities, that's where we show the debt on the schedule. Again, when I get down to the budgeted statements, when they go out and take a bank loan, it shows actually a quasi-revenue source. It doesn't show as long-term debt. It does on this schedule, so you have that information. At the end of the year, there was $1.2 million in long-term liabilities. Most of these are bank loans, but they also had grandfathered in a former plan that they had with their employees to accumulate sick hours, and that is included in here also. The year before, and it's very close to what the balance was the year before. I'm going to show that they went out and borrowed $200,000 of new bank debt, and they paid off between payout to an employee and regular principal payments on their debt, similar to the amount that they borrowed, so there wasn't much of a change. The other thing that shows on here is the effect that they have with their WRS, their retirement pension plan. When you get back to the budget statements, it's basically what did the town pay for their pension for their employees. Well, they're in a pool of money with the state of Wisconsin, though. And the state of Wisconsin actually has their funds audited, and they come up with actuarially amounts, and they do a very good job of investing their funds. 90% of those are in U.S. Treasury bills. They're safe investments. The reason that they ended up putting these things on the books is because there's states, there's one just south of us, there's one way out on the west coast, where they're bankrupt when they start putting these, what they call unfunded liabilities on the books. In other words, if the WRS program went bankrupt, would there be money in there to pay out the pensions of the employees? A couple of years ago, WRS was actually had 102% in there, and you had a pension asset show on the books of the town. If they had disbanded the program, they actually would have given money back to the town because they had too much in the pot. And it's amazing what 1% can change. Well, in 2016 it went down to 98%, and all of a sudden a pension liability appeared on the books that if it went belly up, the town would have to kick in more money to it. At the end of 2017, they're still under 100%, but they're at 99-point-something%. That information is contained back in the footnotes. But the liability that's on the books at the end of 17 was $35,431. At the end of 16, it had been $71,000. So it was actually cut in half because the amount that they have in their pot went up by 1%. Does anybody have any questions about these pages? If not, I'm going to move on to the fund statement, which is the first one is the balance sheet on page 5. In fact, before I even do that, I'm going to just hold your place here, but the middle column says other governmental funds, and I'm going to take you back to those right away and just talk about those. It's on page 3. It's the last page. There are computations that we go through to determine, and you have to distinguish between a major fund and non-major funds. The only major fund that the town has is their general fund. 99% of the activity, virtually every department goes through there. There are some other funds, I'm just going to talk about those briefly. If you look on page 33, the very first column, and this made up the majority of this a year ago, were there funds that have been tied up with the fire department for years and years, back when they were a joint department, for specific purposes. Money hadn't been spent, they just sat there. In 2016, the town got a court order to release those funds so that the town could use those for whatever purpose they wanted those to be used for. The board decided at that time that they were still going to assign those for fire department uses, but the town board now has control of what those are going to be used for. They're not tied up in somebody else's hands. Those were $125,000. In 2017, those funds were transferred from this special fund we had over here into the general fund. When I go back to page 5 in a couple minutes, I'm going to show you where those funds are. But there was a transfer that took place, and if you look in the first column there at the bottom, it's now 0 for this fund. That fund will not exist anymore. The second column is the park impact fee money. Very little activity in there, and it had to go for they had to have a specific plan to use those. That's governed by state statute. They did have that, and during 2017 they put up new fencing, at least the first installment around a new soccer field, which qualified for spending. They went out and spent $3,675 for that. I believe that possibly the rest of this money was spent in 2018.
It will be.
It will be.
Yes.
Okay. So the board decided that they were going to use that money, use this money instead of keeping it in a pot. The thing about the impact fee, according to state statute, you can collect it, but if it's not used within 7 years, you guys are giving the money back to the people who paid for it. Sometimes those people aren't even around anymore after they moved or whatever. And so the wise thing is you collected it to pay for a purpose. You had a plan designed for that, and so they decided to use some of that. The third column was the stormwater fund. This is a user charge based, and probably everyone here is probably paying that a certain part on the tax bill for stormwater. It's self-funding. It's outside of the tax levy. And at the end of 2017, there was $13,000 that had accumulated in that fund. When the 2018 budget was put together, the board purposely had a deficit budget for the stormwater to use the majority of this fund. They knew there was going to be a surplus because there were certain costs that had been budgeted for, and those were not incurred. There was one that comes to my mind is like $6,000, and instead of paying an outside engineer to do this annual report or whatever it was, the clerk's department undertook that and paid and used their own time, so the money wasn't spent. And so funds accumulated. Go ahead.
How much was that fund? How much money was that?
Is left in that, or was for that particular project?
For that.
Was it 6,000?
About 6,000.
How much was that whole fund that was transferred prior to the 6,000?
This fund hasn't been transferred. I'm saying that
it's accumulating.
It's accumulating, but when they put together the 2018 budget, the year we're currently in, they put together a deficit budget. They didn't raise the user fee to what it could be, so that they're using up funds that had accumulated in 2018. Does that make sense? They had more expenditures for 2018 than they do have revenues coming in, because they're going to use up some of these accumulated funds. At the end of 17, there was $13,206 that the fund balance for stormwater. Okay. And the last one is that, and this will go right to the matter too. The debt service is the last fund. It should be a self-balancing fund where you tax for exactly what the principal and interest payments are going to be for the next year. Well, that fund, there was a payment that was delayed from 2016, and so there was money left in debt service at the end of 16. Well, when the 2017 budget was put together, the board purposely had a deficit budget for debt service so they could use up the surplus funds that had accumulated for debt service fund. So it's the same idea of what's going to happen with stormwater, but with debt service, it happened in 2017 where you used it up, and you can see here that now there's $89 left in this fund. Going into the year for debt service, there was $55,000. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Everybody? Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to page 5. So that's, all those funds make up that middle column that says other governmental funds. They're non-major. In total, the general fund dwarfs all the activity that I just talked about that goes in there. I'm going to look down at the fund balance at the end of 2017 for the general fund, and it's broken into various components. Those are all defined on page 18 of the, I'm not going to go there, but if you want to read the definitions of what's non-spendable, what's restricted, committed, etc., they define them there. The non-spendable $123,000 shows up in the general fund. That's money that's pretty much already out the door. The fund balance is available because it was basically for future years' expenses, but the money's gone. And the primary one there is the inventory of supplies, and I would say that the majority of that is by salt. For the highway department,
Yep.
they had salt in the salt shed, they'd spent the money obviously, but the salt hadn't been used. They had some light winters, so. Then I go down to the assigned part, 125,000. That's the money that was transferred from fire department. It's sitting there, but now it's assigned as like the second least restricted. The board at any board meeting can say we're going to use X amount for fire department purposes. Or they could say we're not going to use it for fire department purposes, but they've clearly stated already that's what their intention is. But a simple motion at a future board meeting can use these funds. My recommendation is that when you decide to use these funds, the motion should be specific and say we're going to use the assigned fire department funds to put towards the ambulance, or to buy this equipment or that equipment. But make sure the motion says you're going to use these funds, so there's no question. And then the unassigned part is what is there for what we want to call a rainy day. It's $311,000 at the end of 2017. And it's talking about that before the meeting even started. The purpose of that is so that they don't have to go out and borrow during the year to pay for payroll or whatever it is. It's a cash flow tool that $90-some thousand or whatever it is of shared revenues don't come in until November. They can budget for $110,000, but 85% they don't get till the 11th month of the year. So they need funds to carry those forwards. This is not where their revenues are like this at all. And when you look at the expenditures, they can have significant capital outlays. They go out and buy a piece of equipment, a plow truck, in February, but they got to have the money then. It's not over a 12-month period that they got that. So they have these surplus funds available for them. And it's in an unassigned category. At the end of 16, that number was 348,000. So it actually went down by 36,000 during the year. Does anybody have any questions about the balance sheet? Otherwise, I'm going to just go on to how the fund balance changed for the general fund, and that's going to be on page 7. I'm going to work my way backwards. And I'm going to start on the first column, general fund. Third number from the bottom says that you had basically a net revenues exceeded the expenditure by $65,000. Now, in that number is the $125,000. Everybody with me? Page 7? Okay. In that number is the transfer from the fire department funds of $125,000. Well, that $125,000 didn't go into unassigned money. It went into that assigned category up above. So it's like it's a transfer from this pocket to that pocket, yet for the general fund purposes, it's like a revenue. Okay? So if you take the $65,000 bottom line and you back that out, you actually use $60,000 of regular surplus. Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing that plays into this is that $200,000 that's sitting right above it for the face amount of long-term debt. The town, when they put together their budget for 2017, had planned to fund capital expenditures to the tune of $400,000 for borrowing. When they saw how the year was going to shake out, they decided they were only going to borrow $200,000. It wasn't necessary to borrow all that money because there were some positive things that went through the departments. There were revenues that were found that hadn't been anticipated, and so they borrowed half of it. And so when you factor that into this, the bottom line was about a positive $139,000. It could have been if they had borrowed the whole thing. And I don't want to confuse everybody, but the bottom line is the year turned out really well, and they only had to borrow half what they needed. And primarily, revenues were $85,000 over budget, up on top. During the year, early in the year, they decided that, and with all our municipalities, the town was one of the last ones. They decided to start having charter pay a 3% franchise fee to the town as additional revenue for the service that they get for cable. That amounted to some $30-some thousand, and it took effect not until May 1st, so they only realized 8 months of this. They're going to get a whole 12-month revenue in 2018. Building inspection fees were like $40-some thousand over budget. The amount of building that permit fee was significantly higher than had been planned. So all in all, revenues were $85,000 to the good. The general expenditures were $55,000 under budget. And much of that has to do with the way the budget is there like 5 lines on it. And every one of those lines is made up of different departments, but when they actually do the budget, general government is one number for these purposes. And it includes anything from the town board to the clerk to the treasurer to elections to insurance to the town hall, the assessor. There's a whole lot of categories that go into that number. But that's where the major savings were within those departments. And there were a number of them that came in well under budget. And so between the revenues being 85 over budget, the expenditures being under by 55,000, that's where you decided that you didn't need to borrow $400,000 because you had sources elsewhere. So the bottom line is that it was another good year. The fund balance is healthy, and you have $125,000 sitting in there for whatever major purchase or however you want to determine that use for the fire department, or just continue to carry it forward and earn interest on those funds because the cash is there. Does anybody have any questions about that? I tried to kind of pull it apart so to uncomplicate numbers that look kind of complicated. We also issue a letter to the board of our audit findings, and from an auditor standpoint, when we issue a comment and say, you could improve this or you could improve, I'm not talking about really significant things, but I'm talking about just some things we came across. And when we see a town board or village board take action because they look at our opinion as being worth something, that really means something to us. And there weren't any ongoing comments from prior years because they have taken action to clear those up. And the one that we came across this year, I'm just going to mention it, is that there was a significant check for, I don't remember, $4,000 or so, $5,000, and it was grant money from the state. It was a check to the fire department, and it was received in September. The departments here, the treasurer, didn't receive it until January, so it sat on somebody's desk for about 4 or 5 months. And we saw that. I was looking for that money because we asked the state, what did you pay the town? And they give us all these categories, whether shared revenues, highway aid, whatever. And they said they had paid out these funds, and there's no record of them. And so we started digging, and they came in 2018. And so that's something that should not be. And so, got to keep an eye.
Back those in? They're staying in 18, that they went back into 17?
These funds are unique. They're the only ones that you receive ahead of time.
Is that the dues?
No.
It's different.
These are what they call Act 102 for ambulance. Some of it's for basic training, some of it's for like other purposes.
Right.
But they give it to you ahead of time. And so you can spend those in 2018, you spend them in 2020. Most of the other money that you receive from the state is after the fact.
Yeah.
But this is it. So, would we have backed those into 2017 if they were revenue? Yes.
If they were.
But they're not revenues until you actually go out and buy something with those funds.
I understand.
So if I bored everybody to death? Are you raising your hand because I bored you, Bill?
Yeah, no. No, I just had a comment. Every time we work our budget up each year, the biggest pain in the butt is dealing with stormwater. We have everyone on their tax bill, what was it, $23 less?
Per ERU?
These are mandates by the EPA. They have nothing to do with the town. They have nothing to do with the state. The EPA mandates, again, with no money behind it, what we have to do for stormwater management. It doesn't matter that we have no storm sewers. It doesn't matter that we have no sanitary sewers. The EPA just wants these reports done. Last year, the board met with the DNR, because they are the enforcing agency, to try to find out how we can minimize some of the reporting costs, because we had to pay our engineer for a number of years to even interpret these reports. I mean, it's not like filling out your average 8.5 by 11 info sheet. It gets very detailed. The DNR agreed to use us as one of several guinea pigs to see if we could somehow simplify the system. Our clerk Karen this last year
And,
volunteered her office to help work on getting some of these forms done within our office. So we're not paying an engineering firm $125 to $150 an hour to fill these out. But just so the taxpayers know, none of that money is really going to the town. It's collected by the town per tax key number and funneled directly into meeting all these guidelines the EPA is putting out there for us. So when you see that number in your tax bill, it's not a tax that we can control at all. It's a mandated thing with no money behind it. So just so everyone's aware. To me, it's the most irritating thing we can look at every budget year.
It is.
I have a question on that. So, if you've already done this year after year, and there's no like short form or something, if nothing's changed, if you don't have any of these things to, you don't have sewers and you don't have the stormwater and stuff, if nothing had changed over the year, there's absolutely no other.
You would think so, huh?
That's a very good question.
Not the way it works.
There's always additional mandates. John, his crew is out there meeting these requirements. He can tell you. But every year there are new requirements, new brainstorms coming out of the
Change the
feds.
rules.
Oh,
And all we can do is go after our congressional people because it's coming right from the feds. DNR is just a puppet that
yeah.
enforces it state-wise. So just so everyone's aware of it.
Any other questions to Howard from the board? Any questions from the constituents to the accountant? Okay, Howard. I think, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks, Howard. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, this will be posted on the website. Since the board has seen it tomorrow, it'll be on the website so you can see the whole document. I'm going to do a motion to accept. I'm going to do a motion to accept it.
All right, with that being said, we need to, on item A, have a motion to accept and put it on file. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you,
Any more
Howard.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
All right. Good night, Howard.
Thanks,
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Item B, road culvert and ditching on Martin Street, Meredith Avenue and King Street. That's on there again. John, do you want to take over for that and see what
Yeah,
we
After-
did? Well, just hang on a second there, John, thank you. What we did is our last meeting, we asked John if he could come up with some numbers and do some more legwork. We found out about the culvert on the end that goes under 164 and where that goes. And he's got a plan here with some numbers in front of us. So we're progressing. So, okay, John, go ahead.
well, after meeting with Paul Ambrose from the state DOT regarding those drains at the end of Meredith, trying to find out if this is going to be acceptable to dump more water down into their drains. We found out that's a 12-inch drain that goes across 164, and he was going to send it over to the water engineering department to find out a little more information if that would be acceptable. I haven't heard back from him yet. That was just a couple days ago we were out there. But basically transiting this whole area, it's a very flat area. We have minimal pitch from King Street down around to the north end of Meredith to 164. So there is a cross culvert under Martin Street that is basically plugged up. But without ditching anything north of there and adding culverts, any of that work cleaning those ditches out is pretty much senseless because it has no place to go. So, with that being said, what we would probably consider doing, cleaning out those ditches, just basically transiting them from culvert to culvert and making the pitch right, because they are silted in somewhat. We'd have to add some culverts on the northeast property, culvert on each driveway, and the farther property to the north of that even have to have another culvert added. There would be 2 trees in the way that would probably need to come down in the Wolf property, because they are in the right of way, and basically all that would have to be ditched out. Like I said, we only have like 2.5 feet of pitch from King Street down to 164. It's very flat, but I think basically that's about all we can do to get anything to flow there. We would have to, without installing any kind of culverts north of Martin Street, it doesn't pay to do anything. So.
What's standard pitch for whatever you guys go out for 100 feet?
Well, you have to have like 5-6 inches for 100 feet.
5-6 inches per 100.
Yeah.
You got about 2.5 feet from
That's
King and Meredith all the way up to 164.
yeah. Well, it's over. I don't know, it's like 1,500 feet or something like that.
Well, we run into a problem here that this is an established subdivision. We can't go reinventing the wheel in here because we're gonna run into a problem with the way that the water runs out of there. It runs out now. What we've gotta do is do something for when it's frozen. And that's what we, or it soaks in or wherever it goes. We don't have after the frost goes out of the ground. So we don't want to take and tear the whole thing out.
Okay, but it does not run out now. When the frost isn't there, it leaches into the ground.
That's what I'm saying. It goes away. It doesn't become a problem like that.
Yeah.
So what the gravel that's under it is taking it away.
Yes.
Is where you run into the problem is when the ground is frozen. Then it has to run away somehow, some way. With that being said, gentlemen, what do you think about John's plan? Give me some comments.
It's only a summer solution for a winter problem. That's how I see it.
A what?
A summer solution for a winter problem. And it's not gonna fix the winter problem.
Can you elaborate on that, please? I'm kind of lost in what you mean by...
Well, when the ground's frozen in the wintertime, that's when your flooding occurs. And this isn't gonna do anything to relieve that problem, as far as I see it.
Okay, when the ground is frozen,
That's when your water's standing.
okay, because the water's not running anywhere. It has nowhere to go because as it comes
This isn't
out...
gonna fix that. Especially your place, you got a berm coming up to the road. You are one of the lowest properties in there.
Correct.
So I'm just wondering how we're gonna get that water out of there, even with the ditching we're doing, John. Do you see anything that's gonna accomplish that?
The only thing we're gonna take off is the road water. I
Exactly.
mean, there's,
From a safety standpoint, that would make sense for road water. But as far as resolving the problems, I don't think we have a good solution to
If you have
fixing your
a
drainage
pitch-
problem.
If you have a pitch where when there is flooding in the winter and it's pitched downwards,
How are we supposed
not
to
not
sorry.
over
We're
in
not
our
worried
yard.
about the private property.
It's
of
private
water.
property, we can't,
We can't do anything
Deal
with
with
the
it,
private property that they're in the whole park.
and I
But
don't
what
think we
we
can get up.
have complaints about is the ditch water running in
Correct.
to not being staying in the ditch. So we need to do something with the ditch water.
It comes over the berm into the private property. We're not concerned, we're not asking the town to fill in our low spot of our property. We're asking for the water runoff to run out of the subdivision, not into our yard.
How many properties over there, John, don't have culverts?
3 that need.
The 3,
I think that's on the next page, Gary.
yes,
Yeah.
there's 2 properties with, one has 2 culverts and one to the north of that.
Isn't there some further up on Martin, going to the south, towards King Street? Is there a couple of properties on the,
They have culverts up there.
okay, on the north side of the street that
Mhm.
there's culverts? Because I thought there was a property that was completely, the guy
Filled
goes
in.
all the way
That's the one
across.
right on the corner.
Pardon?
He's the one right on the corner.
Okay.
The one just to the east of him.
So
has
the
a-
water's gotta, you gotta have a ditch in order to move water. And if there's no ditch, the water's going on the street anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, it does puddle up there, and it does run out on the street, I know sometimes, so, and we've had freezing on the road there
So
also.
that's what I say, from the safety standpoint on the road,
Mhm.
this makes sense as a solution.
Mm-hmm,
And
Yeah.
that's really all it could have fixed though. So we understand,
Well, actually, it does fix more, because the water that now goes.
if it does, that's a side benefit that really,
Well, you just, common sense here, if
Yeah.
the water has nowhere to go when it gets there, it
Yeah.
now floods the road and floods over the top into our yard, so if the water now has somewhere to go instead of over the berm, if it makes south to 164, that would be solving part of the problem. It would also solve the problem of the water going over the road. So it
And I
is
think,
helping us.
Eddie, what they're asking for is
I understand.
not, you know, they know they're in a low spot. And they know that they get runoff from the other neighbors in the back and whatever. But if they had a decent ditch to pump the water, they could pump the water to the ditch
Yeah.
and in that low spot, and it would go away. Even if it was frozen, I mean, the liquid.
We're asking for a conveyance. That's what we're asking for.
That's-
Community conveyance, not just our yard.
Not just your
Community
yard,
conveyance.
right. Because X amount of gallons will not flow into that low spot
Right.
if we keep it in the ditch line where it's going. And we have to do something because we have complaints and they're on record.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, I think the gentleman stated at the last meeting that he'd be happy if we reduce the amount of water that's coming into his yard. He knows it can't go away completely, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, from the neighbors' yards, where that water would be, obviously, it's not gonna go uphill to get to the
No.
ditch. So if that water runs into my yard, that's nothing to do with you guys.
Yeah.
But it's all the other neighbors where the ditching is, where it goes over the ditch and ends up
Yeah.
back there. That's our huge concern, instead of having, when we get this scenario of having maybe 2-3 inches of water back there, that's fine, instead of 2-3 feet. That's, most of that water is water that does not get out of that subdivision, it goes down the ditch, dead ends there, over the top of the ditch, and that's where a majority of the water problem lies.
Let me ask you a question, John. With this presentation that you gave us for the cost and everything, do you believe that will help resolve the problem, or are we just throwing money down the drain by?
I do believe yes, I think that would help a lot, actually.
Okay.
Because right now, that water is just going to that corner property and it's stuck there. And
That's stopping.
yeah, and, you know,
I just,
but again, without us adding culverts on those driveways to the north, doing our cross culvert is pointless. And the ditch work up to that, it has no place to go
Yeah.
without these driveway culverts put added. It's just still has no place to go.
I'm gonna go on the record here and say, with that culvert being low on Martin Street and Meredith Avenue, the one that goes under Martin Street,
yeah,
that was completely covered.
Mhm.
That drained nothing. So the only way the water had to go
it just
was
backed up.
either over the road or back up.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no culverts on that driveway on the corner, so the water was just there, just seeking its own level, going wherever it has to go.
Right.
We need to fix that.
Yeah.
John, how big a culvert would that be under Martin?
12 inch, and that would be the biggest we could go. Did you?
12 inches is the biggest, huh?
Because of the height, we have no pitch there.
Yeah.
There's no grade, and I believe that subdivision was designed for it to soak in because it is so flat, because it's on a gravel. I mean, it's all gravel.
Right.
And I have to believe that because with their minimal sized culverts and lack of pitch, they didn't want to drain too much of it off. I think it was designed to just soak in. I mean, yes, there's a potential there that we can get it to run, yes, keep it in the ditch. But again, we would have to do, the ditch work, clean the ditches out. There's 2 trees that are growing right in the right of way in the ditch bottom. And so, yeah, I wish we could go bigger. But again, being a 12-inch culvert on a 164, you can't feed that with anything bigger than what's there.
What size culverts usually for the driveway then?
12.
12
Yeah.
So to get the water over to those 2 storm grades you're showing there at 164, is there gonna have to be a lot of grade changes along that?
There will be some between Martin up to the corner is probably going to be the biggest challenge, because that's really filled in, and that property on the corner east to the property line. There's quite a bit that needs to come out of there. The rest of it is just basically cleaning out the ditch that's silted in, and is really, once you get up around the curve, there's a little high spot right around the corner, but from there, basically at 164, it's pretty good flow. We won't have to touch anything from that first driveway from 164 to that first driveway. That's all concrete pitch already. So,
And those catch basins, are those state-owned?
yes.
So can we automatically assume we can use those?
I met with him up there a couple days ago. We looked through it, and he seemed to think that it wasn't going to be a problem for that amount of water that we're actually putting there. It's not going to be a tremendous amount.
Do they run south down 164 then?
They run straight across.
Oh, straight across the road?
Yes, if you have this map here,
Yeah.
it shows you on there. We went and looked toward the end of it where it came out, comes out of that creek over there. I couldn't stay around long enough, but he was going to go back out and look for it. We couldn't find it where it came out right away. I mean, he was going to go look a little farther.
It'll just be absorbed. I mean, that's just like
Yeah,
drainage.
but so like I said, that's a 12-inch concrete pipe going across the road. Yeah.
Now,
Was
John,
there
I do have a
one-
question.
Was
So the existing culverts now, like on our property, and I do apologize, I don't know my north, south, east, and west that well, but we're south of the Wolf property. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the Jacobys are east of us. So now those existing culverts, would you dig those up and go lower?
No,
They would,
I
He was
can't.
saying that's okay all the way up until Larry Wolf's property.
But
From there out is where it's bad.
you would ditch that so there's a proper pitch. What
Correct.
you're saying is
We
they
would
still
transit
did-
from the east driveway culvert down to your driveway
Okay,
and make a straight shot across. And it's going to have there is a couple inches of pitch there.
all right.
So that's going to pitch. And then from there up to the corner, the cross culvert on Martin Street, there's also a little bit of pitch to the bottom of that culvert.
Right.
So we just got to clean that out, make it
Okay.
flow properly. And once we get it across the street, again, then that's where it all needs to be ditched out to
Okay.
164. But we also have to ditch out to the east from the corner on the north side.
Wait, the east from the corner, where is that?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Because that's holding up all the water coming from the east.
From that.
Yeah, on the north side of Martin Street. So that whole corner lot will have to be ditched out.
Okay.
How much?
Was there a blockage under King Street going along Martin? It seemed to me there was a blockage.
Yeah, it needs to be cleaned out too. I mean, we'll start there, clean that whole culvert out, and get our grade from that culvert to the first driveway culvert, and just follow down the line. There is pitch down as you go along, but it's very minimal.
Just out of curiosity, John, the trees that gotta be come down, are they significantly restricting the water flow going to that?
Well, they'll be right where we have to ditch, and they're in the ditch.
Okay.
And they would be right where we would.
I know there's probably gonna be some complaint about, because those are good sized trees.
Yes. Yeah, and it,
Okay, I just.
right where the ditch bottom should be.
They gotta go.
There are trees.
Yeah, I know.
They're in-
I
they're in
just,
the town's right
I know,
of way.
but I just was wondering how much restriction
Well,
the flow.
if you ditch around them, you're gonna lose some, half of the
Yeah,
root
no,
ball
I-
on the bottom anyways, you're probably gonna kill it.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be back there in 2 years,
Chopping
because
down the tree.
if it doesn't fall down on something.
And you're creating more of a problem by not having a wide enough shoulder alongside the road, you know, so it's just gonna
Okay.
keep in.
I'm just curious.
Hopefully nobody will tie themselves to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Charlie did.
Because we'll get some feedback on
So
that.
I'm gonna read what the attorney put down here again, just so everybody is familiar with it. It is, attorney's comments is my understanding on Mr. Macy talking, that the town is still gathering information on how to deal with the situation. All right, be reminded the town board needs to proceed cautiously. Many drainage problems are non-municipal problems, are caused by the property owner, and the laws does not allow the town to get involved. Okay, we all understand that. If the town does decide that it has some responsibility, then the town will need to decide whether the cost should be paid by all the taxpayers or the proper respected property owners. Proper procedure needs to be followed if you are wanting to charge the prospective property owners for the work that is decided to be done. So, with that being said, the right-of-way work,
That's on us.
that's on us.
Yeah.
But if John runs into a problem with culverts, now we've got 3 culverts that we have to put in. The people that have those driveways are gonna have to pay for those culverts. And we're gonna have to send letters, we're gonna have, I would say all of that work in that area was ever on King Street, Martin Street, Martin Avenue, I think we should all have that documented and send them all a letter that there's gonna be work being done there. If we decide that's what we're gonna do. So,
There's only 3 that need to be affected by any cost from according to John's letter, correct?
2 on the same property.
The Wolf property.
He has a first
No,
one.
only 2, I'm sorry. Wolf is 2, Wolf is 3.
Klosky, I think it is.
Klosky and Wolf,
Yeah,
those 2
two
properties
properties.
are the ones that would have to cover some costs.
And that, it's gonna be a little more extensive on the Klosky property because it's an asphalt driveway. There's saw cutting involved, replacing the asphalt involved. For the other one's just the gravel, just gravel, so it's,
But still, that's a good 15, 16. Is that you doing the cutting and putting it in, or is that? Okay. Because we had talked about that, he's got the option to go outside to get it done if he prefers to. I don't think he can do it for that price, but that is his option.
well, that's what we need to do, you know,
Letters.
you gotta give the property owners the proper, you know, if they wanna do that themselves, we can give
Yeah.
them the price from the town if they think they can do it cheaper, you know, and that's up to them, we gotta coordinate with them.
Most of the cost is gonna be on the town.
Well, it's our road, and it's our
Yeah.
ditch.
$10,000 some dollars, almost
Yeah.
11,000 with chopping the tree down.
10 out of 15, 178.
Yeah.
So what's our next step? To
Yeah.
send the letters out to all the residents?
Well, first step is this what you wanna do?
I think we have to.
I could
I think we
take John's recommendation, you know, because he's the guy that knows what they're doing over there, you know. We asked him to present a plan, he's got a plan for us. I think we should stick to the plan.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes, I'd make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk, you want to read the motion?
Motion was by Supervisor Gary Wilde, concur with the DPW Director's recommendation for the culvert drainage and road project on Martin Avenue as presented to the town board on this date. Seconded by Supervisor Ed Moline. Mr. Chairman, is there any addition to the motion in regards to the letters of notification?
Yes, that'd be fine.
I was going to make another motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Let's do this first motion first.
okay.
All, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, now we're gonna need a motion on how to notify the people that this work is gonna be done.
Sharon, I'd make a motion to identify, or send a letter to each of the property owners involved from King Street all the way down that are gonna be affected by the ditching. And then a special letter to the property owners explaining the additional work that needs to be done on their properties with a cost, estimated cost from the town. And with the option to go out and find somebody to do, even the culverts, they can get to put the culverts in themselves if they want,
If they
right?
can hire it out, that's,
But they have to follow the town's standards on what's
yeah, I'd
done.
have to give them the sizes
So-
and dimensions.
If they want to do that, it should include some
Pardon?
instructions, the town standards have to be applied,
Permits, do they need to get permits?
Yeah, culvert permits would be,
okay?
Yeah. They save $100 if they go through the town because they don't have to pay for the culvert permit.
That should be in a letter.
Yeah.
Let the people know everything,
Yeah,
you know, don't
right.
hide it.
Anything you think needs to be added beyond that, John?
No, I just,
I think John should work with Karen and pen that letter together
Make sure
so they
it's
make
clear.
sure they hit everything for the people.
You saw our standard road letter that I send out when we do a road project.
Right.
That's the type I would do
Yeah.
with,
Yeah,
the only thing that I have a problem with is our minimum size standard is a 15-inch in the town. But in this circumstance, you can't,
you have to buy
Yeah.
special,
So-
that I assume
but
is,
that's the only thing, yeah. I
into the
mean,
quote is
it's not a big
special
deal.
pricing for 3 of them or whatever.
and you're looking at a
I
non-platted
think on that one, you're
subdivision.
gonna find out that there's something underneath there because it's humped up on that asphalt driveway.
I think so
like
too.
it
I
is.
think it's there, it's just been buried.
Yeah.
So,
You need to pad that one a little for, and that's not much money on this.
Timeframe
No.
for that, John, so you should be done by the end of August, doesn't it? So you did you see them?
I would like to be, it would be August probably, yes.
Okay.
Most likely, because we're gonna be paving and shouldering over there most of July, so.
Okay. I think that's it.
You wanna read that motion?
The motion was by Supervisor Ed Moline to notify all property owners within the subdivision of the work that's going to be done within the subdivision, with the understanding that an additional letter be sent to the two property owners indicating the cost of the town for the project and/or the property owner's alternative for contracting the project with the town's specifications.
Contracting out maybe, so they understand it's not
Right.
contracting with us, you're contracting outside.
My
of us.
question, you can't, can you say town specifications because that isn't the
Why don't
town's,
we just put a
Well,
dimension on
you-
the culvert?
as directed by the
As-
DPW?
yeah, you-
As directed by the DPW director?
Right.
Okay.
You just can't put them in.
No, it'd have to match the grade. right?
Yeah, we'd have to probably ditch it first and then they could install their culverts to go with the ditch or something like that.
I'll clarify by the
That's where you
permit,
need
by
to
the
get
permit
together,
issued by the
Karen, just make sure
DPW
it reads
director.
right, John?
Yeah.
Because in your permit, you would indicate the culvert size.
Size, right.
Okay, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
It does
Just
say-
so she understands that it reads right, so that nobody's interfered with the grade once we put it in.
Right.
That does say cost to owner, Chairman.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Oh, I thought you already did.
Now, the cost to owner. I wanna get into this because it's part of it. How do you want them to pay for that?
You wanna
lump
give them a
sum, you
couple
wanna give them
payments?
time, you wanna put it on your taxes, how do you wanna do it? I think that'll be on an individual case, and we'll
Yeah.
have to talk about that when it comes. Cause I don't know the people, I don't know who they are, if they're on a fixed
Me neither, they
income
may be
or
on
whatever
welfare
they-
for all I know, you know, I
That's
don't
what
wanna
I'm
hurt
saying,
them.
I don't wanna make this any harder for anybody
No, right.
than it's gonna be.
Mr. Chairman, would you mind in the letter if I put if they had any questions or would like to talk to the board,
Yep,
invite them to a board
in.
meeting to speak with you?
Absolutely.
And we could discuss payment options quarterly or whatever, you know, whatever makes sense. I'm trying to be as flexible as possible when you're charging somebody like that.
Right.
Okay. So is that your motion?
Sure.
And Supervisor Bill Craig did second it, Mr. Chairman?
You second that, Bill? Okay, could you read that motion
No.
once more, please?
Honestly?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Oh
it.
my God.
I think I know I'm anal on it, but I want to get
Okay,
it right.
why don't you restate it? You're the chairman. Motion by Supervisor Ed Moline to send notification to all property owners within the subdivision of the work that's to be done, the road work, culvert, ditching on Martin Street, Meredith Drive, and King Street, with special notification to be done to the two property owners of the specific contracted project, to the specific project that may be done by the town of Vernon or may be contracted by the property owner at the property owner's expense, with the permit to be approved by the DPW director.
Contracted outside. So they understand they don't have to contract John. We're doing that before they go outside.
It said,
This is just in the minutes, when she pens the letter.
All right.
she's
It's-
gonna-
It almost sounds to me, Karen, like the option is the town will do it,
Not a
or
contract.
they would pay for a private contract.
no, it says at the property owner's expense.
I mean, is it clear that that's if the town does it as well?
Well, in the letter it will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be my only concern.
Okay, so moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Chair, I have one question about the whole thing. According to the attorney at our staff meeting, there could be a possibility of an easement required if our equipment has to go beyond that right-of-way line.
Do you think you'll
I
have
think-
to go, can you do everything
do-
from the road?
On the road.
All right.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they'll have a temporary easement,
Yeah.
and then when the work's done, the easement dies. But we'd have to make sure that everyone's willing to grant that easement too. If it's gonna happen.
Do everything right off the road. Everything will be right off the road.
Do by helicopter what you can.
Yeah. 30 feet's a pretty good line of control.
Until the tree falls around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a question for John. Like, when you do that ditching, because our berm has eroded so much, could you put some of that fill on the?
Yeah, we'll touch that up. Yeah, yeah.
And then,
I know on the west side of your property too, when we
Right.
ditch that out, we'll kind of do the same then.
And just, I don't know if you've seen it, but right next to that culvert, real close to that, or close across it, there is natural gas.
I know, that's gonna be a problem.
Just, you might have to be talking to wet bulbs.
Yeah,
So you guys know
there's a-
before they start digging.
There's a shut off there, yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that. So, we'll hotline everything,
We'll all evacuate when you ditch dig?
we'll hotline everything prior to any digging, so
Oh, yeah.
we do it all the time, so.
No, that's the rummage sale that they're having. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, all right, item C. Jim Schwartz, local traffic concerns in his neighborhood due to Crowbar Road construction. Mr. Schwartz.
Yes. James Schwartz, SCH, WARTZ, S70, W22220, Alameda Drive, Vernon. As you know, the DOT is going to remove the Crowbar Bridge over I-43 starting July 1st, and it's supposed to be finished by October 1st. My concern is People coming up Crowbar Road or Guthrie Road and taking a shortcut through our subdivision, Simona Park subdivision. And I don't think they'd be following the DOT route that often. DOT route right now is supposed to be west from Crowbar Road to 164, south on 164 to Janesville Road or County L, east on L to Crowbar Road and back north for the people that live there. Right now we do have, on Crowbar Road, we do have a lot of traffic. We got some construction, can I name the people? Ogden Hagen's on Crowbar. They use Crowbar Road a lot to get to National Avenue. The White House Farms in Mosquito, they have a construction firm. And we've already had dump trucks and trailers with their heavy equipment coming up through the subdivision. I know it's a Class B road in our subdivision, 10,000 pounds maximum weight, but doesn't seem to stop a lot of construction. I'm just looking for help to maybe slow the traffic down. Because July 1st, the kids will be out of school. We do have a lot of children in that subdivision. People walking dogs, kids on their bicycles, and what else can I say? Maybe if we can put some temporary speed bumps to slow it down. Not necessarily, but.
Supervisors? I want to defer to John a little bit in regard to that. The speed limit there is 25 miles an hour inside the subdivision. Is there a way that temporary speed bumps would be effective, John?
If they're doing the speed limit the way it is, it shouldn't be a problem. I guess that's the whole issue, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to curb people from cutting through there.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
We do have people that don't observe the 25 miles
Well,
speed limit.
that's
You know, they come off Crowbar on Alameda Drive and go north to Sonoma. Either they can go back or cut across Crowbar on Sonoma, to Guthrie Road, or from Crowbar down Alameda to Sonoma and west to Guthrie Road and then over to National.
And there's also Glen Echo over to Knoll Drive. I mean, that's going to be another one. I mean, there's a couple different ways.
I don't think they drive through there too much because that curves around too much. We're a better shot. And then we're gonna, probably maybe on weekends from the Kelly's Bleachers going south down to the, what's that place? Crowbar. Moose Club.
Moose, yeah. Moose.
On Crowbar and Janesville. We'll have the cycles. Because right now they come up Crowbar Road, to National, then go west.
There'll be a sign at Crowbar Forest Home saying road closed.
Yes, that's all going to be a marked detour. So I would think anybody coming from that direction, that's not a local.
Yeah,
I'm
more concerned about the people that do run Crowbar now.
Right, but that should be marked right down there on Janesville.
I understand that. I'm just concerned about our subdivision that people are not going to slow down enough.
We can request additional police air patrol to that area too.
You want to read what the attorney said?
Yeah, what's the attorney say?
The attorney says it's a policy decision. Other communities have done in the past is ask for additional sheriff patrols to keep traffic from speeding and or place additional stop signs to slow the traffic. We're on to refer this to the public health and safety to review the complaint and take recommendations.
Yeah, good old John, he's passed the buck.
They do have stop signs on Sonoma and
Yeah.
where Alameda comes. That was supposed to slow down traffic once before. Well, they take off from there and they just zip up, you know. And then to put another stop sign over by Alameda, it'd be a three-way stop sign because across the road, or, yeah, it's a court.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true. But anyway, it's up to you guys.
So what you're looking for is some temporary speed bumps?
That's all.
For 3 months?
Yeah, that's it.
Not permanent?
No, not at all. 'Cause I remember
I
when
misunderstood you.
Yeah, no, not permanent. Just a 3-month duration.
Can
they
we,
get that
can we
bridge fixed.
legally do that, John?
I'd have to check. I know Muskego did that on Muskego Drive over there, and they had to take them back out.
Yeah,
And
by the apartments when they replaced that bridge on
well,
James Road.
no, right over on Muskego Drive by the lake.
You know why they had to take them out?
I don't remember, but they took them out, and then there was a reason why they were put in
Can you
illegally.
find out from their DP?
Yeah, I'll talk to him because I chatted to him today.
I know
Put
when
some
they-
potholes in.
I remember when they replaced the bridge on Janesville Road before they rebuilt it. Their detour from Janesville Road going east was Racine Avenue to Pioneer Drive and then back up to Racine Avenue. But then there was that little subdivision where all the apartments were, just east of Richlands, fire company.
Yes,
Yeah, and they were cutting through there.
Lions Park, yeah.
I did that too. But we had to go across people.
They do, yes, they do have them in there. They're back in there permanent now, so.
Oh, I don't want to prove that.
Mr. Schwartz, did you say you're seeing commercial vehicles in your subdivision?
Pardon?
Are you seeing commercial heavy
Like
vehicles?
dump trucks and?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Really?
You
Yeah.
need to call the cops on that one.
I was gonna say, do you know, is there a certain, if you could call the sheriff's department when you're seeing that, because those are big fines.
Well,
Give them a license number.
Well, I know who's doing it.
There's a license on
Yeah, but they're not supposed to be in the subdivision.
I
no.
understand that. Yeah.
Emptied it under the weight limit, but full, they'd be over the weight limit.
And there's big fines for that.
But I don't know if
There's up the roads.
I don't know if Ogden Hagen's trailers with their 3 lawnmowers are on there.
Can we temporarily post that? I know we've got our order, but can we temporarily post that for
weight
weight
limit.
limits?
No, there's a weight limit signs up on
This
There
is
are.
Class B
Class
right
B.
now.
Crowbar and
But I
But
mean,
if you want to it'd be up to the board to decide if you wanted to post that. I could put a 7-ton sign up there just to spring. Which,
Is that Class B?
are they gonna obey that? Who knows?
well, no, but that'll give the sheriff's department,
Right.
see them.
you got a 10,000 pound sign up there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Muskego's got 10,000. Ours is Class B.
Ours are Class B.
Yeah.
And B is what, 7?
Yeah.
So,
That means I can't pull my trailer down that road, right?
careful what you ask for.
You got it.
Well, what do you- I would think that would be,
Give the sheriff more options if there's.
yeah, post that road for Class B to 7,000.
And ask for expanded coverage by the sheriff's department.
And see what we can do for speed bumps for temporary.
Yeah.
They're in and out when the bridge is done.
Yeah, they don't have to be like every, maybe
Just something.
just from, when you come in from Alameda and Crowbar to down to Sonoma, maybe 1 or 2 in, spread out. So they know they're there.
Yeah, you can put a sign up too. You have to put a sign up indicating
Oh, yeah.
that there's speed bumps ahead.
Mhm.
I know communities use them a lot.
Yeah, they got those temporary ones, the rubber ones you can get.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look and see if you can rent them maybe for a couple
As
months
long
or
as
something.
nobody steals them.
Well,
Did you go to that last information meeting with the group that's doing the work? Did they say they're gonna put road closed signs up local traffic only?
Yeah, they're supposed to be posting all of that with the detour and whatnot. So
They
it's-
have to.
Any chance
Yeah,
they'd
they
be willing to throw something up for speed bumps in there?
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Because their detour already clearly tells you to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What we're trying to do is
invited,
protect our own roads and the people in the subdivision.
Sure.
I invited some of our subdivision people here, but I see,
Well,
not like.
Yay, Charlotte! No.
they'll be here once the road is closed and people start driving through the subdivision.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I had
Yeah.
one remark from a fellow that lives on the corner of Crowbar and Sonoma, and he says they just fly through,
Yeah.
you know? They
You
just
get
fly
some
right now.
Police up there with radars.
You know, we'll be, if they're running through there with the heavy trucks and they run through there for 3 months, that road's gonna be garbage.
Yeah,
We're gonna be repaving it.
Well, we haven't had a new road since.
How do I spell that?
Valentine's.
Sound like a long time ago.
They were gonna put a new road in, that was the next one they were supposed to put in, but that's, I mean, I lived there since 1976. Well, I
So
think
why
we
don't-
had
We need to watch the roads.
One
Yeah,
road.
the roads. They're
the
expensive.
original and one after
So does
that.
somebody wanna make a motion?
Gonna have John,
Figure out what we should make the motion
are you
as.
gonna have John investigate anything first before you make a motion?
I can,
Well,
yeah.
that could be part of the motion.
Get cost on speed bumps, temporary speed bumps, and find out
Restrictions,
about
if any?
posting it. And
Would
What
a no,
else?
like a
Cost of
no-through,
signs,
no-through traffic sign help in addition to all the others? Or
That's a lie.
Local traffic only, you know, local
Road
traffic.
admission for
Road closed, and heavy wheels through.
Well, I don't know.
yeah,
road closed, shooters posted? Give them something to think about.
give you something to do.
Stop sticks.
But
Well, I'll make a motion that John should investigate speed bumps. Look at what it's gonna cost to put up the signs for Class B road. And,
Isn't it already Class B?
It's,
It's already Class B.
Class B is already
it's
up
already,
there.
Class B, but I want signs up for tonnage.
Yeah, we can put our weight limit signs up if you want for the spring.
Right.
would those two, and would that be temporary?
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
would be, as long as
Just
the board.
during July 1st or October 1st, right?
yeah, temporary.
Yeah.
I think those Class B signs will stay there forever if they're wrecking a road on us. Doesn't make sense to let them beat up a road that costs what it does.
Yeah.
That's my motion, have John investigate it.
They want perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Kevin, you're not mad because it didn't go to public health and safety, right?
No, that's okay. The town board
John
can
later
settle
on
it,
that.
yeah. We put Jay on it.
Thank you, John.
Well, Jay's a valuable guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, but he would.
Bye, Jim.
Investigate it.
Take care.
Thanks, Jim.
Bye, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see what else you got to say.
Item D, photo identification badges for the town and plan commission members, supervisor number 4, Bill.
I know we discussed this a few years ago, and over the years especially with plan commission items where
Yeah.
we have authorization to go on a property, check what we're gonna be looking at. I've been questioned a few times, well, who are you really, blah, blah, blah. And then the latest one was on Martin Street, right over here, the episode we've been talking about. The one gal didn't want to believe who I was. Fortunately, I had a business card with me. I gave her a business card.
Yeah,
So-
maybe you get some
Then
business
she
out of
kind
it.
of believed it.
Oh,
Did you have your work clothes on? You probably figured you were a solicitor.
yeah. Like the cops didn't get you.
Right. So I just got to thinking, I called Karen, I said, I didn't remember if we ever came to
Got a
any
policy.
vote on that.
We developed a policy, we developed everything, but then it just kind of died.
Okay.
Except for I have one and John, you saw him and
The water committee's got it. Do you? I've got one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's mug shots here of the guys.
I think
you know.
that's a no-brainer. We just, make a motion to get all the
Yeah.
town board members' ID badges
Do you want the policy or just?
Number across our chest?
and accept the policy.
Yeah.
Wear
You
your
guys read
striped
the
shirt.
policy?
Policy
You
in
wanna,
place.
you wanna,
We'd have to modify it a little. I read it.
Uh-oh.
what do you want modified?
Well, I have to come back to you with the wording. I didn't change the words on it when I was reading it, but there's spots where it needs to be clarified as to who's doing
Well,
what.
do you wanna work with the clerk on that?
Yeah,
On the
let me
next
take it home, read it,
agenda?
Karen. No. I bet if you read it, you'd know where town board has to be injected as an exception or whatever.
Okay,
But I will.
okay, so motion will be to, get the town board members ID badges and to craft the policy and put it back on the next town board agenda.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Well, those are some, good-looking guys on the DPW.
Yeah, there's a few in there I'd be a little suspect of.
Especially number 2, huh?
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Item E, bartender operator's license for Benjamin Zahn, Abigail Woodward, Caitlin Christian, and Krista Erickson.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to state, you saw in the packet, if it's a renewal, I did not put their server certification, but I can verify that every one of these bartenders are certified. They've paid all their fees, and there's no issues in regards to the background check. They are ready for your formal approval.
Okay. Item E. Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the bartender's license for the individuals shown named Benjamin Zahn, Abigail Woodward, Kathleen Christensen, and Krista Erickson.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item F, Class A beer liquor cigarette license for the licensing year of, how do you pronounce that, Karen?
Gedajub Kalchan, doing business as RNS Midway Market. I just wanted to state to the board that all the liquor license have been applied for. We are still waiting for the fire department's report. I do not have that. For all the licenses that are issued on the town board agenda, everything is in order. I just wanted to state on the agenda, Kim King's number, I put her married name, but she really is Kim King, doing business as It Ain't Heaven. Did you want to do these individually, Mr. Chairman?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll just do them.
So the Gedajub Kalchan, doing business as RNS Midway Market. It's a Class B beer and liquor and cigarette license.
Is there extra money for golf course?
We're not on that one.
Relatives?
Is there a motion for get a job?
This is
So
the,
moved.
okay.
Is there a second?
Second. Okay.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. Jim Hahn for New Era.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Class B liquor and cigarette license for Frederick L. Millies, Edward Golf Course, and Jim
Ferrucci.
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 The third, Morning Star Golf Club. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Class B beer and liquor license for Kim Hellenbeck at It Ain't Heaven.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, it's Kim King.
Kim King.
I'll make a motion to approve the license for Kim King.
I'll second. You seconded it, Lynn seconded it, that's good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Beer license for Doug DeBeck for Siege Paintball.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, that's all we have for beer and liquor,
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
and then bartenders, okay. Item K, asbestos abatement and Vernon Fire Department training on the activity center. John?
Well, through that PARS company that we got the inspections from, they did give us a bid here for $4,442 for the asbestos removal.
Okay. I was reading the paperwork here, it says, please note that the drywall composite, the plaster and the vermiculite samples came back with less than 1%. Some more EPA rulings here. Needs a DNR points count analyst. So you go back into the other part of the letter. Then it says 3 samples have come back, sample 1, sample 2, and 5 with traces of asbestos. The samples need to be point counted. By law, to prove the product negative for EPA and DNR purposes. You need to authorize to proceed with the point counting, which would be our recommendation, and the cost will be another $50 a sample. So, it's gonna be the dollar, does that dollar amount there, that 44.42 include
No.
those 3
No,
samples?
we've
or-
already done those 3 samples.
Those 3 samples are done, so that
That's all.
44.42 includes all of that.
That should have been done, yes. That was,
Those 3 samples came back saying there was enough asbestos in them that has to be removed.
yes, and they said they would check them.
My question is, their quote's dated February 14th, and that letter talking about the samples is dated February 14th, so how did that get involved in the quote?
That's why I was asking.
Well, if you look at our
Dates
APs,
make it sound like that's another 150 to me.
well, the APs we just, for tonight, they got the $150 in there for the 3.
I didn't even look at that, that's,
That was for the 3.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was gonna say,
we're good.
okay.
um,
So then that,
when I-
44.42 is the price.
Total price.
yeah, and I asked him, because I knew it was gonna take a little while, I said, are you gonna, go with that same quote? It might take a few months for us to get this done, and he's like, yeah, well, it shouldn't be a problem. So he's like, I
So
understand.
15 APs, I'm assuming it's all done?
Pardon me?
since Jeff said this is on the APs tonight,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's all done?
Yeah.
And we
That-
can
that
call
should
the
be-
fire department and say, go.
Well, no, we have,
They have to do the abatement.
We have to-
They gotta take out the asbestos.
This is the investigation.
This
This is the report.
4,400
Yeah.
involves taking out the asbestos.
Yeah.
doing the
4,442, they would
Yeah.
have to come in and do that yet.
abatement. Yeah,
And that requires a DNR permit,
yep.
which they will take care of.
But we're paid for it, or we're paying for it now.
No, we're paying for the $150 for the sample.
That's all you
the
saw.
sample.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you saw the whole bill.
No. So you just need to approve or sign this agreement.
And then, well, I didn't see the results from those 3 additional tests.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do.
We don't need it.
Well, it did come back saying that was high in asbestos. I'm assuming.
.25 for the, I can't even pronounce what it says, crystalline, and then it was a tremolite and an actinolite.
Did they tell you whether or not that includes abatement requirements, or if it's okay the way it goes? In
Yeah,
other words, you're gonna add anything to this
No.
as far as removal
no,
costs?
it should be what this is right here, because that's why, they actually amended this. I had a prior quote from last year of $4,185, and after this inspection, they
Okay.
bumped it up to the
Because they found
$4,442.
more asbestos.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there was a little more involved.
So we're covered for all of it now.
As far as they said, yeah, they should stick to that price. So,
Okay. So what this will be an approval to have them do the work to remove it.
Do we have this in the budget somewhere? So we thought. $5,000 we missed, huh? 4,500?
But you will have franchise fees that you did not budget for. You'll
Right.
have excessive revenues.
Well, unless everybody does what I do and cancel their prescription.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the quote and go ahead and sign this to get the abatement done.
It'd be to authorize the town chairman to sign the agreement.
Authorize the town chair to sign the abatement letter in the amount of $4,442.
And with the 150 we're paying the
We
company
already
for that becomes, and
Yeah,
this
okay.
is just for discussion purposes.
All right.
You add the 150 to the 4,442, that becomes 4,592, which is under the $5,000, which we don't have to get the,
Approved. Yeah,
We don't have to bid it out.
we don't have to bid it, well, we bid it anyways, but.
we did, yeah.
It doesn't have to go for public
It
bidding.
doesn't.
That was the cheapest one you could find, John?
Yeah.
That's just for the ankle biters.
Okay.
the other ones, quite honestly, I wouldn't even call
There's
back.
no ointment for
The
that
other
yet.
ones that
They what?
the other ones that we had in here, I wouldn't even call back.
They were too high?
They know
No, they were just, I
Ridiculous.
think, a little shady. I don't
Okay,
think they were
not a
very,
reputable
not
person.
reputable at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The local Joe Schmo with a dump truck trailer and, you know, that kind of thing. And I
Now, we
said,
gotta get some kind of letter on file, and I only ask this because of what happened to my brother-in-law. That they have taken care of this properly and it's in a
They gotta go.
authorized dump site, because what happened to my brother-in-law, he took some lights down up in Hartford based on the request, on a bid, electrical contractor. A couple of years later, they come back to him from the EPA and said, we're locking down your bank accounts and all until you pay this fine, because they found those lights in a swamp down in Florida. Yeah. Some unlicensed person took them, made the money on them, and dumped them illegally. Well, he was deep pockets at the time for some of the other vendors that were involved in that. So they came after him, and obviously town of Hartford at that time. And it took him like a month and a half to get his accounts released, his bank accounts released, so he could run his business. They don't play around. So I'd like to make sure we get some kind of certificate from them that this was done properly and we got it on file somewhere.
It is in their agreement.
Oh, okay.
All work performed in accordance with EPA, OSHA, and DNR regulations. All asbestos material will be disposed at all licensed landfill. Disposal manifestation documentation will be provided. And as soon as they provide that, Ed, I'm going to send it to our insurance company. Because
Okay.
there is a disclaimer, and as soon as they provide it, I will send it to our insurance company just to
I think
make
that's
sure.
important. just to protect us.
All right, so Ed made the motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Did you want to change that number, Tom, to 4592 then, for the?
No, because we're doing 100, I just
Are they gonna
wanted,
be able to do it?
that was
pretty
just
quick,
for talk.
Pardon me?
Under
John?
the
Are they gonna be able
five.
to do this pretty quick, or?
He's just waiting for a phone call. I told him, I'll let him know, and I think he wouldn't have a problem getting
Then we
out
could get
reasonably.
the fire department out here and burn the place down.
Right after they give us
Get
this
your
month's
marshmallows
report.
ready?
Yep.
Well, we gotta
I got the s'mores.
find out what we're gonna do with all the
Bring my
park and rec
lunch
stuff that's in there though.
Right. L, amended zoning code regarding the number of rummage sales.
Yeah. Okay, I probably could take that because I was involved in this. I went up there a couple of times, and on the weekends, sure enough, she's definitely running a rummage sale every weekend. But the property owner across the street, they have their property lined with stakes with yellow construction tape to keep the people from parking on their property. He also has had people driving in his driveway, you know, and walking across the street. And I can sympathize with him that this is more of a business than a rummage sale, you know. And she indicated that she has every right to do this, and she's going to do it. And so he had talked to her and pleased to find out what her standings were in regard to what's going on. My talking with the gentleman that owns the property that we filed a complaint, is she doesn't even live there. This is a property that in her command, but she doesn't even live there. She lives elsewhere, and she's
What
using
right
this
does she
property.
have to it?
Pardon?
What right does she have to it?
Yeah, I don't know. But she has the right to have, according to our zoning code, she can have a rummage sale, but it has to be set up on one day, sale one day, and broke down only 3
Yeah, but
days.
that doesn't tell me what right she has to be on that property except it's owned by somebody else. That guy gave her permission?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's her property. I think she owns the property.
Oh, I thought you just said.
Yeah, no, I'm
somebody else.
sorry, I misspoke. But anyways, it's every weekend. And I think, I know the zoning code, it's kind of hard to change the zoning code, but Karen indicated we could have a resolution possibly to indicate that, you know, maybe put some limitations, no?
The attorney said no.
Well, the way I read this now, it says, yard sales which shall be limited to 3 consecutive days, including the day of, the daily, and the day after.
Right.
Period. That's one.
Yeah. Yeah. but
That's it.
She's kind of,
But it
So
says
what we
sales
need to
plural,
do is amend this.
It's not just one time.
Sales means you can have more than one in the town. See, we need
I'd
to
read it
clarify
differently.
that. I don't read it that way.
yeah,
I'd read it differently.
shall be limited to 3 consecutive days, including daily.
I think, how many per year, I think we really
Well, we're
ought
gonna have to amend it, we're gonna have to amend this.
to.
Well,
2 words.
It's a.
What's the easiest route to amend it?
Yeah, what's the easiest way to go?
I'm going to pass out some samples that I did some research. Most communities only allow 3 in a year's time.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good examples here. If the board would want, I would talk to Jason Fruth
Yeah,
at Waukesha County to let him know we have an issue with this particular part of the ordinance. We all know that there's multiple parts of the ordinance that our zoning code that we do need to change. But if the county would understand that we need to clarify just this specific portion to see what Jason's we'd still have to do a public hearing, we'd have to go through the whole process. But if the board, we could look at language, but if you'd want me to contact Jason to see about the possibility of addressing this specific portion of our code because of the problem we're having.
I have an idea. Every time there's a sale, send Cal over there and assess them for personal property tax.
But they have to be a business. Businesses can't have rummage sales.
Boy, when they run that frequent, that's a business.
it's a business. She's buying stuff someplace else and selling it on her own property, you know, which is you can't have that much rummage that you can have a
No.
rummage sale every weekend through the whole summer.
Well,
And I went there on a day when she was selling, and there had to be 8, 10 cars, parked all along Vernon Vista on both sides of the road.
Okay, so, how many you want to let people have before it becomes a business?
Yeah.
And then we can charge $150 permit for it,
Yeah.
or.
That may not be enough if she's making money on it.
Well, $300 permit for
There you go.
for a permit?
I think.
That's how we got rid of that motorcycle track
Yeah.
next to me. County let them do it.
Yeah.
But it became, the county wanted the DNR involved and wanted this and that involved. And
Well,
if they're running that, then they need insurance.
Yeah.
DNR side
They're gonna have to have some type
Go
of
on the website.
insurance, liability insurance,
yeah.
proof of liability insurance and,
We should really state, more than so many's a business. As a business, you need a permit,
you don't wanna tell them no.
you need a license.
You just wanna make it so you can't.
Make it too tough for them to do it. Well, she's kind of taking the attitude that the rules say I can do it, so I'm gonna do it.
Well, I think
Every weekend.
2 would be enough, for 3, whatever you guys decide
Three,
here, and any more than, and if they want any more than that, then it's gonna cost them for a permit and
Yeah.
proof of insurance.
I think
and-
2's enough. It's a summer, well, you're not gonna have it in the winter. You only got like a 5-6 month summer here, so how many do you need?
The property owner that's complaining said he'd be happy if it was just once a month, so I mean, that's how
That's too
much
many.
it's
How bad it
affected
is.
him.
That's too
I'd be
many.
fine with 3, because all of a sudden you get one weekend, it's, one that's
And-
free, you're rained
Yeah.
out, so you'll have it a little bit later, and then you have another
Yeah,
one
but then you
fall
didn't
before
have one.
winter. So, well, but
If you rained out, you didn't have one.
I drove past the property tonight before coming to the meeting, and they had the garage door open, and it's jam-packed with stuff.
She's ready to go
So she's
again.
ready to go again, So, I mean, this is a continuous thing.
spring, summer, fall, 3 would be the most things you have.
I'd buy into 3, but no more. Personally, I think 2 is enough for spring, summer, fall. I don't
So
know.
somebody wanna get a motion, we're gonna have to go and start the process.
Yep.
Well, that's the only way I see to stop it. I mean,
Do we have
I read
anything
that
else
different.
that
what
we
kind
can
of
go right away as long as we're doing this process with the county?
Oh, we have so many amendments.
You
There,
wanna do,
oh,
you wanna go through them and get them in there?
Sean's not ready, Vince isn't ready. I mean, there's a lot. And that, when you're amending the code,
Well, when are they gonna be ready?
I don't know.
Oh.
Vince is swamped. That $40,000 of extra revenue, that's why he's so big. He's really busy. But I don't know how the county would feel, because there are more clarifications, or because he really would like to talk to the plan commission, and then bring it to the board, all the amendments. I can give you a list of what I have, but I don't know what Sean has, and I don't know what Vince has, and Jamie also started a list before he left also.
Well, what if we went where she's doing all that and posted no parking signs up?
Why don't we just go with the ordinance and tell her it reads like you're thinking, or, I'm thinking that the 1 a year, period.
1 a year and then post no parking signs.
Why not?
And if they start parking there, the guy across the street can call cops and have them ticketed.
Yeah.
I actually, when you had a rummage in our neighborhood when I was in Go, a guy actually parked across my driveway.
That's what's happening
And on
here.
both sides, I mean, I couldn't even drive across my front lawn to get out with my boat that day.
Well, there's ways to do it. I mean, if it's becoming a nuisance.
That's what this happening.
They have no manners when it comes to
Until it gives it sounds like we ain't even ready to do this yet.
Well, that was my suggestion, is I contact Jason
Yeah, but I
for.
don't wanna do it haphazardly and just forget something and
Right.
not get it figured out.
You mean for all the issues, or just the rummage sale?
Well, the rummage.
Well, that was my suggestion, is talking to
Yeah, but it
Jason.
sounds like they need relief. If we do it with Jason, this ain't gonna be till July or August.
Right.
we
Yeah,
can't wait for that.
We can't wait that long.
No.
We're looking
It's
for relief now.
They're having trouble right now,
Yeah.
They'd like some relief.
Yeah, this is not a fast process.
No.
No.
We're gonna
that's
call
what
this
I'm
1 a
saying.
year for now, huh?
It'd be ready, we'd probably be ready for next spring.
Yeah,
if we did that.
she's done, yeah.
Well, she's done.
Well, yeah, for that one,
And
but if we read that as one a year like you do, Tom,
that's what I
she's
read.
done. She's done for a year.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
What's the attorney's comments?
Huh?
What did the attorney say?
Let's see here. Says policy decision, I recommend the town board amend the ordinance to clarify how many days between January 1 and December 31st permit sales can be held. Town board, it was a mind to, could initiate the petition pursuing the zoning code by motion at this meeting. There's a serious potential risk to merely interpret the current language as only allowing 1 3-day permit sale. I can explain these concerns in a closed session if needed, which he would charge us for.
But the financial.
And I think we just tell her she's done with one and post it.
I forgot reading that, but when I read it, I thought, well, it says more than one, but yeah, I'd like to know what the serious potential financial risk is to interpret it as one.
Well, I think the easiest thing to do is put the no parking signs.
Yeah.
Make people walk it half a mile, I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll park there with the no parking
Yeah, I was
sign,
gonna
so
say-
they'll have to call the sheriff.
Then he can call.
You know they're gonna park
Well, he
there.
will.
Absolutely.
Look what they did on Center, they cut the rope so they could park in there, for God's sake.
Well, if they wanna take a chance,
Yeah,
then they gotta be on the horn
Yeah, he'll call.
but I would like to initiate changing this.
Yeah.
If it's gonna take that long, I'd say at
Well,
least, let's get it on the agenda, so it doesn't get lost.
well, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see the whole list and do them all the changes to the zoning. So we get them in front of the county.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Does the county still only do it once a year?
No, you can amend the zoning code
Oh,
any,
remember they used to only
but
do
there's
it
a
in
process.
December?
You have to have a public hearing.
Yeah.
Plan commission makes a recommendation to town board, petitions the
Yeah, we
county.
should do it all at once.
Yeah, to go through it, I'll be nice to do more than just one thing, but.
Oh, there's a lot too.
That's
You have to do it all at one time, at one night? You have to have all the changes
That's what I'm
presented?
saying, in the meantime, no
Post
parking
it.
signs,
Yep,
order stacked.
we can do that, can we?
That your
What
motion?
street is that?
I'll make that motion.
Verta Vista?
Verta Vista.
I need an address and it'll, I mean, how far do you wanna go? The whole street or, 2 blocks or a block from either side of that?
Verta Vista, when I came in on it, it goes, she's about the 5th or 6th house in on
Why don't
Verta
you
Vista.
meet Gary out there?
Huh? Yeah,
Meet-
why don't you do that, John?
Meet him out there tomorrow or set up a.
Yeah, I know which house it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay, I don't mind going out there. Road trip.
That's it. All them signs will be stuck in my yard.
That's all right, I'm getting all the beer cans, and they're recyclable. Makes you make money on
Well, I
those,
mean, I can understand it, and if
Oh, I wouldn't want to live
if we
next to
wait
that.
to petition the county, we wouldn't have a hearing till July, and then we wouldn't get the county to act on it. It'd be in September, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be every day they were running these sales and no relief.
And when I drove past there, when I saw, it's a zoo. I don't know how she advertises, but she gets the cars out there. And that's a narrow street, it's just a subdivision street,
We need to bring some stuff over.
Yeah, but we gotta list all the zoning codes we like to modify at this point in time, or?
Well, we'll get that.
Who made
Working on
that,
it,
who made
right?
that motion?
I did,
Jeff
Oh.
did.
Okay.
Did somebody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Yes. Jared did.
Karen, would you reread that motion, please?
I have Supervisor Jeff Millie's move to authorize the DPW director to post no parking signs on Verta Vista in the area indicated by Supervisor Gary Wildy.
That's good.
Seconded by Supervisor Gary Wildy.
No, okay, I can't make a motion and second it.
No, I made the motion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
All
just
right.
seconded.
Okay.
Jeff did the hard work.
Discussion?
Yeah, what are we gonna use for no parking signs?
I've
We
got a
have
whole,
cardboard ones, or we
No.
gonna use the regular?
I've got a whole stack of them that we used when we did the Rumble by the River. We did them up on River
Oh,
Road.
yeah, we just
So
move.
we
perfect.
have
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Just move them over there for
Yeah.
a couple months.
We just put them up for the tractor pull, during that weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
So we gotta take them down that weekend and move them.
yeah, use
Yeah, how long? I think I got enough to go around.
we'll need them again for Rumble.
Okay.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, Mr. Wilcox, outstanding invoice request to file contempt of court paperwork. Madam Clerk.
As you know, the town board directed me to file the 2 small claims court. One obviously paid his bill and all the fees. This individual has a few more days to comply to presenting financial information. And my question to the board is if the person does not present that information, do you want me to take it the step further to indicate that he's in contempt of court and hasn't made any type of restitution on payback to the town? As you know, this individual was involved in vandalization with 2 other individuals. Those 2 individuals paid their fine to the court and restitution to the town. This individual did not.
I can't even believe he has the gall to ask for an extension after how many years now?
He hasn't asked for he hasn't made any attempt to.
Contact her.
Right.
Oh, violent.
So we've got a couple issues here. We've got to find out, if we want to garnish his wages, we've got to find out where he works. Well, normally they don't cough that information out. So we're probably going, if she files that contempt, we're probably going to have to spend some money. He's going to have to pay it all back. But get either a court, we got a judgment against him, that's already. But now we're trying to get him to pay it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna either have to, serve him and then get him to where there's a court commissioner and ask him the questions of, where do you work? And if he doesn't answer them, well, then he's in contempt, and we'll have to go from there again.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to serve him, which is $60, and we're gonna have to file this, which is $5. But, it's money we all gotta lay out. But,
It's returned.
the guy's a deadbeat, he don't pay his bill, and he won't tell us where he works to garnish his wages. I'm not for that's the taxpayer's money.
Oh, yeah.
It's not my money or your money, it's the taxpayer's money.
Right.
Why should, his bill has run up to $500 already.
Yep.
I'm not for letting it go.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
And the meter's running, it's just going on it's his dime.
Yep.
Because we got the judgment.
I say go after it.
Yep.
Is that a motion?
I would have thought that when you went into court, you could ask him right then and there, or the judge could ask him where he works, and if he doesn't give it, it's a court.
He's supposed to. He's supposed to give up the information. But he's not doing it willingly.
Where'd you get that?
This came from Karen.
Oh, I don't have a copy of that.
Frequently asked questions about garnishment.
Yeah. I don't have that. No, that's okay. I'm in favor of.
Mine was in the middle of the.
Karen will have to do a little more work.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I've talked to the court, but I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to tell you where
Yeah.
we're at
He's
now.
looking for a motion
So
to
what do you
do it.
want?
I have your motion.
Okay, you got it?
Yep.
All right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Eddie second it? All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a shame we gotta do it, but
What was the original fine, $250?
$211.
Yeah, it's up to 500 now.
yeah, and it's gonna just keep going.
Yeah.
If, we gotta get a court commissioner and pay for that and get him in there and if he doesn't show up for that, then we're gonna have to chase him down and then the cops will throw him in jail and if they get him and, well,
I know.
for a kid,
He's ruined his life.
sure don't look good on the credit.
Nope.
And someday, sooner or later, he's gonna wanna buy something.
Good luck.
Hmm?
Won't be too successful.
ES&S rental agreement for 2 additional tabulators for November. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman and Town Board, in the 2018 budget process, I did ask the board's permission to rent 2 additional machines for the November governor's race, which is going to be very, very busy. It is in the budget, and as you can see, the agreement is with ES&S, who has our current tabulators. And so any agreement, as you know, we bring to the town board, so my request is that you would authorize the town chairman to sign that agreement to start the process for the November election.
So this is, that contract's already run through the attorney and all that, so we don't have to worry about anything like that.
No, I don't do any, I don't give any agreements to the attorney unless the town board asks me to
I'm
send
not
it to
gonna
him.
ask. I'll make a motion to approve Tom signing for the additional voting machines.
With one at each polling place, Karen?
Yes, 1 additional at each polling place.
Democratic or Republican machines?
I can't divulge that.
Mr. Macy says this is a policy to please, as part of the motion, indicate whether I need to review the document.
No,
No. I said that right up front, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
you don't have to. This is a cut and dried.
Well, you've done it before from the same
Yes,
company.
yes.
So you can assume.
Yes,
So it's been moved and seconded?
no second.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Menards West Dallas Store, authorized user agreement, DPW director.
We just have, sometimes we need to go to Menards for some materials. A lot of times we ran into, they don't have all the materials at the one store, so we have to go to multiple stores sometimes. And that just gives us another option. Basically, the Franklin one we usually go to, and sometimes the Waukesha one, so.
Or West Dallas.
For this is for the West Dallas one, yes.
Well, Menards cards not good at all stores?
We don't use
No,
them.
we don't use the cards. We basically go in there, you give them your name, where you're from, they'll look you up, and each store has their own individual.
The franchises or?
They invoice, yeah, and they invoice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, if they're franchises, that's independent owners.
so it's just the same
Right.
access, just to a different store.
And we've requested that on a yearly basis. I have asked them to supply us with a sheet so we can make sure that there's people that shouldn't be on there are not on there, and people that are authorized. And in your motion, you would authorize this in accordance with our credit policy, our credit card policy.
I'll make a motion to approve the request from the DPW director for Menards, using the policy on the credit cards. Is that a good way to state that?
Yep, in accordance with town policy.
In accordance to town policy on credit cards.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. P, job description, interview, and hiring process for the Vernon appointed clerk treasurer position. All right.
Who would want it?
Question. We have a whole book that was given to us for this.
Yeah.
I got another copy of it here. Didn't need it. But when the attorney was with us and staff, there was a statement made that he believed in something. He didn't state it as law to my recollection, but he believed that he hadn't read anything in statutes requiring X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on it, but how do we want to proceed after that conversation would be my question. What detail do we want to go into? What level? Anybody got an opinion?
Should at least have a job description,
Yeah.
so the person knows
That
what
I
it
think
all
we need
is.
to, yeah. Yep.
I think that's the first thing we need is a job description.
You know, I look at it, heaven forbid something would happen to Karen. But if we all of a sudden have to go out and hire somebody, they have all the stuff in place and we have it put together.
And I think you should put it out there. I think you should post it. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Why, where are you going? No, in all fairness, you're right, it should be posted.
You're creating a new position.
Yeah.
And John referenced so many communities that automatically put that person in that.
Yeah.
I would feel better competing, personally. I mean, that's just me.
So the whole 9 yards, we should do.
It's up to you.
Did that job description come from another entity, another municipality or something?
No.
Because the state statutes are nowhere near that detail.
No.
Oh, no, the job, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So you have your statutory obligations that a clerk and a treasurer does. But then the job description is what I actually do.
You would have to fill in beyond the statutes
Oh.
because only 1% of 99 is covered.
Right.
Or 100.
Yeah.
I also shared with you a copy of the
Towns Association?
the Towns Association application for hiring. Did you get that yet?
You said it was in one of the town.
I thought I gave you a
It was
copy.
in the
of it.
magazine, yeah.
I put one in your door. No, you didn't get that?
Unless the assessor
It
took
was
it.
in the last copy of, I've got it at home somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. My door is for the assessor.
I'm sorry?
The thing that's on my door is for the assessor.
Oh, did I put it in the door or did I might have? I
Well,
probably
if
did.
if
I
it's-
probably walked by and stuck it in there. So you might ask.
Well, I'll get it out of the. It wasn't this last month. It was.
No, it was the one
We need a
before.
job description. Okay, right here, it says, review current position for changes or create a new position description. What do you guys want to do with that? Who wants to do that? Are there any volunteers?
I don't think anybody knows how to do that except Karen.
What's that?
Review your job description and add in what has to be added on
Well, I
top.
think you would be good at adding Karen to work with Karen and do that, and then get that back to the town board.
Jeff doesn't have a committee.
Yeah, but you ain't doing that right now.
Oh, I'm gonna be real busy with ordinance this year.
And then I
I'd be
think
happy
you
if
should
that
just
worked.
do, identify necessary qualifications
Yeah,
in the job description.
if that's what you'd like,
If
I'd be
we
happy to
want
help
to
out.
have that in there, but,
I'll throw my shoe in
and
the ring.
complete position description,
Right,
and then we can bring it back to the town board. We need a job description.
sure.
And we need a job description combined,
The two.
and then we need to write our ordinance
True.
for that. So that's why I picked you.
I've been a double hit on this,
Because
you
that
know.
can go right into ordinance.
Or you could use Bill on personnel.
Yeah, well, that's, I'm getting to next.
Maybe it's a joint committee
Personnel
function.
would be, create, for recruitment. How we're gonna do that with your personnel committee.
Here's a-
And
There's forms. Yeah, we can look.
I don't know if we're gonna go into the interview process or whatever, but, you know, that's,
Well, the interview process would basically follow whatever job description you put out as requirements for the position.
yeah.
You know, the check off list
So,
basically is what it should be.
the first thing is gonna be
Getting
the
into
most
positions
important,
combined.
getting you to work with her and that, so then that can roll right over into ordinance.
I can do that.
Those were my thoughts. I was thinking about that all day today, how are we gonna do that? And I was hoping you'd
You're not gonna do it as a
volunteer.
5-man group, because it's never gonna get done.
Well,
So,
well, the
You're
all I
right.
could think of was, because you're head of ordinance, and ordinance is gonna have to be redone anyways, you might as well work with that description, then you got a good handle on what's going into that,
Can you turn
and you can roll right into
the
that.
cooling down? It's too cool.
Cool.
Oh.
Put that in that job description.
Is it in your job description?
No, I forgot that. AV.
I got a winter coat I'm gonna bring for you.
Yeah, I brought a coat along too, I should put it
All
on.
right.
Still a little closer to.
What's that?
Still a little closer to.
It is a big hug.
We don't need an actual
Watch it.
board action on that
This ain't
because
California.
we have a volunteer, had volunteered to work with Karen on that. So we don't need an actual
Raise your hand.
board action on that.
I learned a long time ago.
When you put your arm around here, you raise your hand.
Yep.
All right. Is that good, Madam Clerk?
That's perfect.
All right, good.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving on. Request the town board to send letters to Spectrum and AT&T for maps of service areas for
This
the
is
town of Vernon. Madam Clerk.
very simple. There is opportunities for the town to apply for grants, possibly for grants for additional internet cable services. But before I could even do that, I would need to know, or the board would need to know where Spectrum AT&T is. And so my request is if I could draft a letter and bring it back to you at the next board meeting requesting both of those entities to supply the town of Vernon with mapping in regards to the location of their facilities and where they're located.
So you're just looking like a street map of Vernon what has
Yeah.
where the lines are
Right.
run.
Where the lines are.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with access because that was that's multiple. Many times people say they're not getting anywhere, so those are some of the conversations. But I would like to see, and then to see if I can apply for any of the grants. A lot of times, too, the companies that provide those services, if the community knows that you're looking for grants, they'll work with you because in all actuality, the person that gets the money is the person that's providing the service.
Yeah.
But which is one thing, but my concern is for residents in the community that don't have that opportunity.
Because they're outside the perimeter.
Right.
Well, that one guy was gonna cost him to go through the mound to get to his house.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, you know. No, definitely, I'll make a motion to request Karen to send a letter to Spectrum and AT&T for the maps and service area and see what we can find out.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Correspondence and announcements. And reports. Let's roll that all into one. I have nothing.
I also have nothing.
But Gary?
Well, we went through the one people that I contacted or that contacted in regard to the rummage sale. I did have contact with, because I was here Monday morning with a lady who had a concern regarding the upkeep of Heather Ridge Park, and I had a chance to talk to John regarding this, and there's like night and day in regard to what the park looked like on Monday versus what it looked like this evening when I drove through the park. And I appreciate the fact that he jumped on that right away and took care of the situation, and that park is really looking good. I know we've had some difficulties with that park because of water drainage. That's been addressed. Now the diamonds have been taken care of. The grass has been cut. The weeds have been killed. So it looks really good. Matter of fact, all our parks are looking good. I took a tour through these tonight, and we really have a nice park system. You know, it behooves us to keep it up and not begrudge the fact that we have to pay for some seasonal people to work on it, you know. But thanks to John for getting that taken care of, and I hope the lady who had an opportunity to come in here gets a chance. She lives right close by. Take a walk around there and see the vast improvement that the park square done. And it's not a knock against John. He has two people, and he has a lot of parks to cover, a lot of work that has to be done, and they look really good. So, other than that, I can't think of anything offhand, Mr. Chairman. That's should be, there's a public health and safety meeting this month on the fourth Monday of June at, I believe it's 6:30, if I'm not mistaken, and everybody's welcome to come down and voice their concerns regarding any public health and safety.
Is that at Papa Stash's down there?
Pardon?
Is that at Papa Stash's?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
That's not in Vernon, that it can't even have it here.
That's right. Yep. I had one more phone call from someone about the property over in Hidden Lakes. Same basic statement that they were running a daycare out of there and cars are parked there. But, I just told her that it was the same report that we gave before, that that's on the wetland and there's nothing we can do about it. And she has to go to the county if she wants something done with it, so pass that along. I also heard a rumor that I volunteered for working with Karen on some projects here, so that's all I have. Bill?
I just had a question for clarification. I read an email today, and Karen can probably answer this. It was from the county, from Andrea. It was addressing the property on National Avenue, the one we've had issues with. My understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, she's saying that the part of the property we're concerned about is not in shoreline.
They haven't had their public hearing yet. It's in July.
So in the meantime, we would have the right to enforce our ordinances, correct? Okay, because now, like I said, we've got a big fireworks sign, a double-faced trailer out there now, and signs along the highway, and the whole town is his to advertise, I guess. That's the way I see it.
You got signs all over the place, yeah.
Yeah. But here, right in front of this place, we're trying to clean the firewood up.
Yeah.
Now he's got a trailer with the double-faced sign on,
Yeah.
and
It gets worse every week.
does. And then I read that email that, well, maybe we can act real quick here.
I read it,
Because
and I'm
once we
thinking,
get past July 4th, his purpose is over. He's accomplished what he wants. You know,
Yeah.
thumb his nose
Fireworks,
at us.
yeah. No, I read that and I kept thinking, this is like a bouncing ball. They're responsible, we're responsible, but nobody's responsible at this point until they have their meeting.
The town is. It's the town's
It's still under our zoning, and
Yes.
we can say something to them and fine them.
Well, you'd have to send the building inspector out.
Then
Yeah.
have to go and get a letter to them then. But now, when is their meeting? Do you know?
For the public hearing is July 11th.
What
For
about the other meeting that was being discussed where we didn't have time to respond because the board was only meeting today? It had to do with Fourth and our planner. I'm trying to remember what the meeting was about.
Oh, the county for site plan of operations
Yeah.
under county jurisdiction.
What was the time, when is that meeting?
It's like June 11th.
Oh, it's coming up.
I don't know why Tom couldn't have put something on the agenda for that, because we got the facts a couple days ago. I mean, we're making modifications anyway.
So what happens is we start action as a town now. July 11th, the county votes that they have jurisdiction. Now we're right in the middle of something.
Back to where we were.
What happens there?
I don't think it happens that, because that's the public hearing.
Okay.
And then it goes from the county, and the town makes a recommendation, and the county, so it's gonna take a couple months.
Well, Vince says he normally gives it 30 days after the inspection to respond. And make it the 7th. If you go 30 out, July.
Yeah, you just have to
We should be able
file,
get some reaction out of that.
he just needs a complaint. Vince
Yeah.
just needs a complaint. And Vince is a lot more responsive, nothing against the county, but I can show you where
We have a complaint, right?
a written complaint.
Didn't you write one, Bill? I thought you did.
I don't know if I
The
did
firewood.
at the beginning or not with the firewood. Yeah, with the firewood, I think
Yeah.
I did.
But not the,
Should
not
I write
the,
another one for
I
the
would,
sign?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I think,
Could I quickly go back, Mr. Chairman, I forgot something, unless you wanted to make reference to it. it had to do with the article that was in the Freeman on 2nd of June, and big giant headlines, the top Big Bend, Vernon, Big Bend in town of Vernon talks about fire service. I just want people to be aware that this town board did not go to the village of Big Bend and request to meet with them regarding fire service. Big Bend came to us. So the way this article by President Sonnenberg indicates that, we should have never split, and that's all our fault and everything, and we should have, it's a bunch of, the same old baloney that we've been listening to since this come about. We're offering that, their people came to us and asked us to provide some information regarding fire and EMS service to the village of Big Bend. That's all we've done. We have not gone to the village and say, hey, we need you, and this is all a bunch of crap. It's the same thing. I'm getting tired of seeing this about Big Bend crying about fire and EMS service. So I just wanted to make people aware that we did not go to Big Bend. They came to us, and we're in the process of trying to work something out with them. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be with us. They can go wherever they want. We were asked to provide some information, and that's what we're doing. I just got a little upset when I saw this article in the paper that kind of inferred that
Well, I think I got some comments on that too. I think that's what he's just trying to do, Gary. Get us upset enough to just say, oh, the heck with them. But it's typical Sonnenberg.
Yep.
Blow it off. Don't get upset by him. He's got the target on his back and he knows it. They bumped two of them off. Sonnenberg is next. And you know what? He's feeling threatened. He's gone. He's gonna be gone. So their finance committee is all brand new. Sonnenberg is fighting tooth and nail to try and know what they're doing. They can't. They don't have to tell him they're doing to him what he did to them, and he don't like it. Imagine that. And his days are numbered down there. The handwriting's on the wall. The people elected those people. It wasn't Sonnenberg and his crew that elected them. So they got 2/3 of the vote, and they run them other ones out. And it's interesting how now he says everything's illegal. When he was doing it,
that article
legal
was
as could be.
That article was almost a comic strip.
So I read it and I just, that is what it is. Sonnenberg is typical Sonnenberg. And that's all I'm going to say. Don't be upset by it.
Yeah.
Bill, you got anything more? I see you chuckling over there.
Don't get him started.
The word transparency keeps coming.
Yeah.
Must be a definition for it.
About as much as that wall.
I keep remembering the article that the resigning clerk wrote 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's
He laid it out.
transparency.
Yeah.
Anywho.
All right. John.
I just had my report for what we've been up to here. Brush pickup, we finished up. It was up 59 stops over last fall. So we're up to 825 total stops, or places pick it up. So
I have a question for you on that. Do we have anybody we're delivering to west of the bridge on the Fox River in Waukesha? Why did I see one of our trucks full of brush heading across the Fox River going west into Waukesha?
shouldn't have been.
I
Full
couldn't see
brush?
who was driving, yeah.
No, we
It had
haven't had any brush.
It had brush in it, I'm wondering why is it got brush and we're going over there to pick something up, that makes no sense. No?
Not that I'm aware of. The only time, when was this?
About a week ago?
Because when
Did
we
we
were,
still meet?
he had an issue with the backhoe, and I think he might have run up to the hardware store for a fitting.
Oh, with the brush in it?
Yeah,
That's possible.
because they were out, they're
I
actually.
thought it was really strange.
Yeah, they were up on that end of town when they blew a fitting on the backhoe.
Okay.
So that very well, he's looking for an easy, or for a
Yeah.
tap for a.
Okay.
That's a
fitting.
good explanation.
So anyhow,
You know?
Yeah.
but we delivered, all the wood chips are pretty much spoken for. We had to limit it down to one to two loads per person because it was just such a high demand. Otherwise, we just want to make sure everybody got some. So, and I'll put the numbers together for you guys.
Okay.
We just finished delivering today, actually. We got 2 loads, couple loads tomorrow, and we're done.
Tom, would you put something on next month's next
Talk
agenda
about it, yeah.
to discuss that, because we've had discussions from people outside of the group here. I got an email from one of them discussing that he thought potholes took precedence over brush pickup this time of year. I'd like to just get into a discussion again on that one.
What do you want for an agenda?
Let's talk about whether or not we start charging.
Or the brush.
I don't think we can
brush
drop
pickup,
it. but,
Brush policy.
Yeah, policy on that. Let's look at cost again, see why everybody in the town's paying for. And can you bring the numbers of deliveries you have?
Yeah, that's what I said. We just got done today.
You want brush policy and cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, well, like Gary said, we got those ball fields graded up there. They just finished those. They started them on Tuesday and finished them up on Wednesday. We set some diamonds, or not, plates, distances and stuff like that. But diamonds, I think, turned out very, very good up there.
Yeah, it looks real good.
Next Monday, we're going to be starting culvert work on Artesian Avenue to replace those culverts. So there's probably a good chance we're going to be closing the road at some sections because we're going to do them in one piece culverts. Some of them are a little long. We do them in 2 pieces. We'll do half the road at a time. But I think just for convenience sake, we'll be able to close off a section from like Stonehill down to Evergreen, and then you can still get around. Yeah. So, and I notified the fire department of that already, so they're aware of that. There's going to be a possibility of some road closures down there. So, and they contacted me today about digging out a section for a patio behind the firehouse. I don't know if any of you are aware of this or not.
No.
They want to pour a slab and put up a fenced-in area.
They have to amend their
You
site
gonna have
plan.
a beer patio?
Yeah, well,
Check with Vince on this? I mean,
They have to amend their site plan of operate. They can't just
yeah,
do
they
that.
can't just go digging.
he just wants to put a 10 by 20 concrete slab back there for a patio.
Just tell them they gotta come to the town board to discuss that.
I'm just bringing it up because
Yeah.
Jason called me today and wanted to know if we could dig it out. I says, well, I can do it, but I need the okay before I do anything. So I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there, so because they're aware of what's.
Clean out Station 2 before they start working on the patio.
Did they ever finish the front?
Not that I'm aware of.
Before they start any other projects, they better finish what they've got there. I thought the Boy Scouts were gonna come in and finish
Yeah.
that.
Tom and I went up there and looked at that, some months ago. They
Spring.
haven't made any progress on it at all, Tom.
Well, didn't you contact one of the leaders that was
Yeah.
gonna get them moving on that? The Boy Scouts were
Nothing.
gonna handle it, but nothing. Maybe you need to give them.
Well,
Is it the same guy now? I thought.
Well, I got a meeting with, at the Boy Scouts Tuesday night to present them a plaque from the Lions Club.
Okay.
And I'll get an opportunity to talk to him and jack him up about what's happening there, you know.
Yeah, it's been
You know,
quite a while.
Take a chunk of split face block along with you and say, here, use this. Cause that's what they're gonna need out there to patch that.
Yeah. At least they need to touch base with you, John, to find out what what you can do, what they can do, you know, to get it finished so it looks decent.
Well, I thought Alex said he had somebody lined up that he,
Yeah.
you know, he had a
And
mason or
that's
somebody
nothing's
that.
happened. Okay.
Right.
So I-
Anything else,
yeah.
Madam Clerk?
I just wanted to state to the residents that, once again, we have no peddler's permits. We've had people calling about religious organizations soliciting. That's not approved. I mean, so everybody needs to know there are no solicitor permits issued. If anybody's in your neighborhood, please call the sheriff's department because we're having a lot of suspicious activity in the town. County Supervisor Darlene Johnson indicated that they are not going to be redecking the bridge over the Fox River. The DNR indicated that there's an issue with the swallows, and because this wasn't done properly, they cannot do the redecking of County Trunk Highway ES Bridge over the Fox River till 2019. She sent that.
Swallows?
Yeah.
Swallows?
Yeah, they
Saved
missed,
by the swallow.
saved by the swallows, so I just wanted to let you know.
That's tough competition for the mosquito squad, you know that?
And I just wanted to let the board know that we did, maybe about 150 letters to all the people on Artesian and that subdivision that accesses to let them know that the road project's going to begin, just so that they're aware of that. And that's all I have.
Swallows aren't there.
No swallows.
It's stopping us.
Okay, finance, let's get into
Frogs or
finance
something.
there.
Tom, can I back up one sec?
Sure.
When he was talking about the abatement and everything, it reminded me. Gary and I were over there, and I think we need to put something on the agenda to call Alex and Patton, I guess, to one of these next meetings and find out what the timetable is, or give them a timetable for clearing out Station 2s. If we're getting close on getting rid of that building, we're gonna need a place to put that stuff. They made a commitment that they can peddle that stuff in no time on the website or whatever. Pat said they did it at their station. I don't care if they peddle it or move it, but they gotta get it out of there. So we'd like to have them come in and commit to a time frame, I guess. Is that okay?
So you want,
Either one.
a agenda item for the fire department for the burn for that building and for a Station 2 cleanup?
Right.
Yeah.
Station 2, we gotta put a deadline on that.
Yeah, because we're getting close now. If they're gonna do the abatement and stuff,
Yeah.
depending on how long that takes, we may be sitting with a bunch of stuff sitting outside on the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that with the Parks and Rec stuff. I don't think we found another place to put it, right?
Well, we'll see how good our fire department is, and burn that house down and leave that garage.
Yeah.
See if they're that good.
Are we sure? They're pretty good from what I hear.
We'll see.
Mr. Chairman,
They could do it.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to note for the record that the board asked, Supervisor Moline asked for an updated zoning based upon our staff meeting. So I just wanted to let you know that you have an updated zoning violation list. There are 3 zoning violations that will be on the next list, but he hasn't done his investigation yet.
Okay, but they'll be on the next list? so
Right.
we'll-
So you'll get that every month, as Chairman Byrd requested.
Thank you.
All right, finance, accounts payable.
Bye, John. Get out of here, John.
Is it okay if I take off?
Oh, yeah. I'll take care of this.
Karen,
Bye, John.
question.
Yes.
EMS building, we seem to be having quite a few issues with them lately. One real old one that just never seems to get settled, which is about $7,000 owed to us from Waterford. Now we got a new one where Waterford was it Waterford? Asking us for money back on a They issued 2 checks or something. 64240, EMS billing invoice for December 112843, and I think that's where they showed it, right?
No, that's a bill, this one, the one that's in APs is one that we never received. Oh, it's for January of 2018.
That's what it was.
The one that I emailed to you was the most recent bill that's coming, and my question to them was, you show us that we owe Waterford,
Yeah.
but Waterford also owes us 7.
Yeah.
And Eric is out of town, so hopefully we'll get some response.
You know, the last 2 times I've asked, he's been out sick or something. Is there somebody else we should be dealing with?
Well, he did say it, so I sent it to her to see if she could respond. Because the last email I got, he and Alex were working on the issue.
Yeah, good luck. No, I think forgetting Alex, I think they owe us a response.
Right.
My comment to him when he was sitting here was, it was your mistake, correct? Yes. Then why don't you give us the money and you chase it? Why are we waiting for this to happen?
I did
he said
send.
his boss wouldn't go for that.
I did send the email to the person that he indicated, and if I don't hear anything by tomorrow.
The woman that he told you
yes,
about?
that Luann.
Yeah. This is taking forever. It's getting
You know,
kind of frustrating.
the other thing, if you want me to, well, I don't know if you want me to do that. I know the administrator over in Waterford. I could ask the administrator what they know what's happening in Waterford, but I don't want to overstep my bounds either.
Well, I thought the chief actually had their chief, who was a nice guy that showed up here that day looking into it, and never heard a response back on that either. He was going to look for where the invoicing problem was, but nobody seems to come back with this. It dies. We ask a question, there's no answer.
Yeah, well, I know Eric was on it, and then he got ill, so.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say, is there somebody else that he's got some personal problems going on? I don't think we want to.
And I'll email her again, but I did email her my questions, so.
All right, I won't beat that to death anymore. If nobody else has any questions, I'll make a motion to approve. Anybody else have any questions? APs in the amount of $41,398.14.
I'll second for the sake of discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry, did you have one? I should have asked.
Karen, down at, near the bottom of the first page, municipal law and litigation, check number 64270. Charges for open records response, $567.50. Any chance on back billing? That is a ton of money we're paying to respond to nonsense.
Yeah.
Call it what it is, nonsense.
Well, it was the biggie was the request for, that wasn't a straight open records request. I've never seen an open records request where I have the obligation to make an open records request to you and then you have to respond back. I mean, that part of the law I wasn't even aware of. So I remember when I solicited you on, that's where all the expense came in, is the research that went into how that open records request had to be made to you and to the respondent, and you.
So we can't backfill any of that? It's above and beyond the...
No, your time, none of that stuff is,
Allowable.
Interesting. That's all I had.
Okay. Been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Manual checks, we have one, Madam Clerk?
3. One was a check that was lost by United States Postal Service for a piece of equipment from the fire department. One was a Spectrum bill that has to be paid, otherwise we get the $7 late fee, and there's no way I can physically make that because our next board meeting is the 21st. And the other one was a small one, $19.
$20,
Spectrum?
Earmark?
Yes, there was an invoice that John thought he submitted, but we wanted to get that paid back to them, so it's $20.79. So manual checks is $3,495.39.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Discussion anymore? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? ECH transactions for May.
I'll make a motion to approve the ACH transactions in May for $1,333,645.82.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Accounts receivable aging, any comments? Nope. Any comments? No comments? Okay. We'll go to minutes, May 17th minutes. Any comments or corrections?
Pretty good.
Motion approved.
Bill, was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard something over there.
I'll second that one.
Yay!
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. May 24th.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to remind the board, I did email you corrected minutes. We did not go into closed session at that meeting, so the corrected minutes indicate that there was not a closed session.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. There's still finds a correction.
Been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. May 29th.
Mr. Chairman, there's no board approval. I just have that in just so board members are aware of the
Yeah.
board review minutes.
We don't have to approve it.
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Next meeting date will be town board June 21st at 6. Public comments, let the record show there's everybody left,
Nobody here.
no public. Motion to go into closed session, consideration and possible action on a motion to convene an executive session. Under Wisconsin State Stat 19.85, Pren 1, Pren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whatever competitive bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically for an agreement with the Village of Big Bend for EMS and fire service, whether Mr. Sonnenberg likes it or not.
Yeah.
Included in the closed session will be the Vernon Town Supervisors, the Town Clerk. Motion requires a roll call vote.
We need a motion.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Chairman Thomas Byrd,
Yes.
Supervisor Jeff Millies,
Yes.
Supervisor Gary Wildy,
Yes.
Supervisor Ed Moline,
Yes.
Supervisor Bill Craig.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll note for the record that your town board voted unanimously to go into closed session at
43.
8:43.
We're in closed session. Please remove your mics and what they got.